Very back.
uh,
Back
100
farther
years
in
a
the past
week.
than one would assume.
So, speaking of the past, a figure, a heroic figure, shall we say, from the past, has passed last month, as a matter of fact. And instead of, you know, being dicks and remember him for his suffering and his time of mental illness and, disquiet as his poor brain, shut down, not long followed after by his body. Rest in peace, Frederick Brennan. May your wheels be setting tire fires in heaven.
Yes,
So,
may your wheels were warm.
well, wherever you find yourself. So, anyway, he apparently passed on the 10th of January in his sleep after, we'll have to presume, a long bout with severe mental illness based on, how things happened after his heroic acts with the founding of 8chan and the assistance with the innumerable and esteemed Gamergate, as it is well remembered by all members of press as, helpful and a joyful conglomeration of peoples of all races, creeds, and sexualities.
Poor Fred.
It is so ironic. It is an ironic thing. So, yeah, there you are. He's
Death isn't really ironic.
or no, just kind of everything. But that said, moving along, you should.
Yes, moving.
Yeah, you should not drink the water if you're in Mexico, which is generally good advice. Also, you should not be in Mexico right now because you're probably stuck
or in
there.
Mexican water.
Yeah, you'd probably find yourself stuck there, because there's this whole cartel versus the government war thing going on.
Oh, I heard that the government had the cartels under control down there. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, they had a working agreement. That is to say, a working relationship.
A working agreement. Uh-huh.
Or
What happened? Did Scheinbaum drop the ball?
well, something like that. Something got dropped. I'm not. Well, you could say that. You could say that. Something or someone got dropped. Most certainly, and that would be what's his name? The cartel fella. Apparently, El Mencho, Nemesio Osuaguera Cervantes, known by El Mencho, and basically the whole of the resort area of Mexico is on fire. About 5 separate areas. Jalisco.
That's unfortunate.
Tapalpa, Guadalajara. Like 2 other areas. Puerto Vallarta, and somewhere else, actually. In addition to running gun battles in the streets in these resort towns.
So, for context, in 2017, in December, I went down to Cancun to give a talk at the Polymer Processing International Conference. At the time, on the other side of the city, towards the interior of the country, they were firing RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades, at each other in the streets. And we had to get an emergency authorization to go from the whatever the hell council that determines whether or not state employees can leave, because university, so state employee. And so we ended up we all had to write a freaking paragraph beforehand, like the weekend before. And then the next day, on Monday, we got all of our stuff in by 10 a.m. They had us a response by 2 p.m. that included a 2-hour lunch break. So whatever was supposed to take like 6 months for them to decide normally, apparently only took 2 hours um, around a lunch break for them to rubber stamp. So that being funny as it is, whole state does dumb shit thing. They were firing rocket-propelled grenades at each other in the streets. That was in 2017. So I'm just saying that, the government down there knows where their bread is buttered. They're not going to let the fat Americans spending all their cash get hurt.
Well, on that note, they have actually
But they are going
already
to
rolled out the heavy
inconvenience the
artillery.
shit out of them. They are going to inconvenience the shit out of them. So, getting to and from the airport, probably not going to be a big deal.
Well, that's the thing.
Out of the
There are no
airport-
flights at the moment, so there's not much of a point in going.
Right. That's what I was going to say is getting from the airport to here might be a bit more of a pain in the ass. Not having any flights, so... Oh, boy, excuse me. So anyway, getting out of there, it probably depends on who is in the area at the time as to how much the president's going to give a shit, let alone the State Department. They're going to care because, Americans and all. We're in February, so...
Well, that was something I was going to mention. And we don't have anything, and I've been trying to keep up on this, but I haven't seen a lot as far as the evening. But if any Americans get hurt in this, then, well, the gloves come off.
Yeah. So the Mexican government knows where their bread's buttered. The cartels are keenly aware that, for the most part, that if they do something extra stupid, they're going to feel a whole lot of heat. And the shit we've been pulling already to stop them from sending their drugs here is going to be like a fucking wonderful vacation on the beach. Our boys are the ones who taught the Mexican military how to go after the cartels in the first place. And we got an entire United States of military backing behind our boys.
There is
whereas
that.
the Mexicans have maybe one cartel's worth of government behind them. Against like 6 or 7 cartels. We've got maybe like, to put it in scope, a couple 100,000 cartels worth of might behind us. And that's a low bound estimate.
No, just a quick by the
way. We will
by.
flatten the fuck out of them. We will flatten them, and we will make what happened in Afghanistan and Iraq the first when we inserted there look like a picnic if we need to. It's because these guys are right next door. This is not like a world away. This is where we get to say, oh, well, we need to clean up our neighborhood, and we will clean the shit up.
Oh yeah. If it gets that way, then
we'll play mariachi band music as we're doing it too. Some shitty techno remix version of it.
Oh yeah, no, undoubtedly we'll show them what for, as they say.
We will culturally imperialize as we need to get the message home.
Yeah, it will be firmly received if it becomes necessary, undoubtedly. But beyond that, what I'll include below, it'll be one of the first links, will be a link to Nick Monroe's account, which, by the way, excellent follow if you aren't. And he's got a thread breaking down a lot of the key events that have basically been occurring throughout the day.
Oh. And one other thing, all the squabbles that you hear right now between Democrats, Republicans, Marxist retards, sane people, all that stuff that's going, all of our internal politics. If you didn't catch what happened in 2001 after the towers came down, the internal politics will disappear if we have an issue. We are very capable of being all on board the same idea when it comes to somebody fucked with us and we must fuck with them back. Like there is not going to be like a left and right vote on an issue at that point. If anything, it's going to be, should we fire 600 or 700 rockets into this one asshole's territory?
Yeah,
Like
no, if
it's not going to be an Israel versus Gaza thing where we're worried about civilian casualties. We will just pound the sand until it melts.
and on that note, we do actually have a specific statement that came out. I'll just go ahead and read the whole thing out from Carolyn Levitt, press secretary. Let me see here. Given the confirmation that there was U.S. involvement. So, quoting here, the United States provided intelligence support to the Mexican government in order to assist with an operation in Talpalpa, Jalisco, Mexico, in which Nemesio El Mincho Osuguera Cervantes and infamous...
I call myself a gringo with my girlfriend often enough. This is just fucking funny to listen to. Sorry, keep going.
An infamous drug lord and leader within the Jalisco New Generation cartel was eliminated. El Mencho was a top target for the Mexican and United States governments as one of the top traffickers of fentanyl into our homeland. Last year, President Trump rightfully designated the Jalisco New Generation cartel as a foreign terrorist organization because that's exactly what it is. In this operation, 3 additional cartel members were killed, 3 were wounded, and 2 were arrested. President Trump has been very clear. The United States will ensure narco-terrorists sending deadly drugs to our homeland are forced to face the wrath of justice they have long deserved. The Trump administration also commends and thanks the Mexican military for their cooperation and successful execution of this operation. And also, we'll just go into this one real quick. But this is from Mike Alfred, stating, hearing credible chatter that after the accelerating and expanding cartel violence across Mexico today, FIFA is considering moving the upcoming World Cup games in Mexico to additional sites in the U.S. and Canada. This is emerging, so...
Ouch.
That will be developing. Yeah, FIFA 2026.
Yeah, that Scheinbaum's doing such a great job down there, huh? That was a great pick, huh?
Well, the cartels, they wanted who they wanted. And they got
that was a top tier pick. It sounds like she's gonna make them all filthy rich down there. They're gonna bring in all the extra brands, all the wonderful things from the international community. All the vacation spots are gonna be open. I hear.
Speaking of smart moves and vacation spots, actually, too, there's. Let me see if I can find the specific link on this. But long and short, this specific cartel, has been diversifying. Here we go. Got it.
How is that? Well, how are they diversifying?
Oh, dirty pool. So what they've been doing is getting into timeshare fraud. And what was it? They're getting out of fuel theft and timeshare fraud. Here it is. Okay, so let me read from this article that came out just 3 days ago. Treasury targets cartel-linked timeshare resort defrauding U.S. citizens. Dated the 19th of February this year, 2026. So Washington. Today, the U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Affairs Control sanctioned a timeshare fraud network led by terrorist cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generacion, the CJNG, the same exact ones we're talking about here. The actions targeting Cove Gardens, a Mexican timeshare resort, as well as 5 Mexican individuals and 17 Mexican companies associated with the network. Many of the individuals and entities are based in or near Puerto Vallarta, a popular tourist destination. That also serves as a strategic stronghold for CJNG. CJNG is a brutally violent terrorist cartel that continues to diversify its illegal streams beyond drug trafficking, including through timeshare fraud and fuel theft. These activities generate significant proceeds for the organization at the expense of U.S. citizen victims. Timeshare fraud often targets vulnerable older citizens and can defraud victims of their life savings. There's more, but I'll throw just a quick link to that. So, yeah, just one in particular.
Sounds like they're real winners.
Here is
this group of medicine candidates.
Well, one in particular, a family lost $900,000 in a timeshare scam, and just one individual linked up follow up from that. So they've, if it's not one thing, it's fucking another.
They be fucking around, is what I hear.
And it might be find out.
It's about find out season, isn't it?
It very well could be. Very well could be.
You shitheads. I mean, by all means, continue.
Well,
That's the end result. There is by all means continue. You guys fuck around as much as you'd like. You get all that shit out of your system.
indeed, indeed. So, okay. So the areas were Puerto Vallarta, Chapala, Guadalajara, as well as Tamaulipas, Michoacan, Guerrero, and Nuevo Leon. So that is extensive. And
Whoops.
well, let's see here if I've got any more updates at all. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of Canadians and Americans that are basically just kind of locked up in their
I mean,
hotels
have
right
they
now.
not seen what we did to dump Fuckistan across the ocean?
Well,
That's got to be a statement that they can go ahead and pay attention to. I know we had the whole drawdown and the botched bullshit under Biden, but they've got to be paying just like a smidgen of attention to the last couple decades of what can happen. Because if we don't have to build things, we're very good at breaking things.
oh, our guys are pretty good at that. Pretty good at it indeed.
Yeah, they walk good too. They can find you.
And funny thing here, let me just read from now. This is dated as of 12:39 p.m. I guess this would it be Central or no? Probably Mountain Time, right? More likely than not.
Down there.
Yeah, Mountain or
Let's
West
see.
Coast time, depending on where it
Yucatan
is.
area is Yucatan is central.
Oh, Central. Okay.
Mexico City is mountain.
Well, let's assume Mountain Time, because I mean it's coming from the central government. So
Okay, that's
assuming
it.
that they've got their statement here as of 12:39, whatever that specific time was.
Please help.
No, actually, no.
Porfa, ayuda.
No, actually, everything is fine. There's nothing to see here. So let me just read the translated quote here. It is reported that shopping malls in the capital and the main city of Jalisco are operating normally. They're open to the public and no closures have been recorded. There is knowledge of incidents involving the burning of some stores at specific locations, which are already being addressed by the authorities. Commercial activities are proceeding as usual, and the presence in the state is being reinforced to protect the population.
Please help me, senor.
Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing. Move along.
Normally.
Move along. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. And well, it's. I mean,
everything is perfectly normal. Please help.
I mean, it is literally the Naked Gun scene. I'm telling you what. It's you couldn't ask for better. It is just living comedy.
I mean, it's
tragedy.
Sucks
I guess.
This is fucking god awful.
Oh, it's real bad.
At least it's predictably. At least there's that predictable humor right in the middle of it.
Oh, but yeah, they've rolled out APCs, like they're fucking tracked APCs and shit to deal with the cartels now because things have gotten, well, like I said, running gun battles.
They escalate. They are. Bad. You gotta keep in mind the cartels are backed by China. Like, this is a proxy war with the United States that's been going on, slow burning in the background for a long time.
Oh, okay, and it is still ongoing. Let's see here. We've got reports of a Black Hawk just landing with some National Guardsmen that got injured in further gun battles. So, okay, confirmation that the boss is dead via Mario Knopfel about 10 minutes ago. Photo leaked online, so I will throw that in there right now. Here, I'll throw that in the staff chat for you so you can check that out too.
As occasionally informative as Mario can be, double check what he says.
Well, I mean, we've got reporting that's the case. It looks like just a photo from the morgue or whatever got leaked. So,
okay,
it's like there's nothing particularly terrible there or anything. It's not like specifically graphic or gory. But that said, there you go. It is a done up deal.
Already.
Let me see if there's any other breaking updates on that. No, that's about all I've got as far as current info goes. Nothing else. Nope. No, but they've got Army helicopters are circling. I mean, they got APCs out on the streets. Things are pretty freaking wild in resort
They're
area.
about as escalated as they're going to be, aren't they?
Indeed, they are. That said, though, again from Mario Knopfel, because he happens to have this through some fairly reasonable sources. I think he got this originally from my Lord Bebo, who also a good follow for geopolitics stuff. But
Bebo's pretty good.
Yeah, but there's a fella by the name of El Yogurt. Yeah, I know. Probably whatever. So he's
the people involved are
right?
going to be a bigger story, just always.
So he was apparently like one of their logistics heads, and he is most likely to be the guy following up in El Mencho's place.
Oh, Yogurt was head of logistics.
Yeah, yeah. But yes.
I mean, I'm 12 here, but like, come on.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. So yeah, everything's real crazy down there. I'd like to get a little bit more of a current update, but it's nighttime.
Yeah.
People. The other
Crazy
important part is
Yogurt.
the cartoon. Yeah.
Right.
You may be asking yourself how I got here. Roll music. Yeah, but with that said, the cartel did put out a notice that at 5 o'clock, if you're out in the streets, we're going to kill you, basically, in the simplest of terms.
Okay.
So, there's probably not a lot of people out taking videos and such.
I mean, the nice thing is that they're still saying that in Mexico. They say that anywhere else in party time.
Yeah. And now, that said, if you're in the Northeast or in the New York area, it is not hot, actually, out in the streets. It's quite cold. Snowing, in fact. And
cold in the day.
It is. So, up there...
now, I heard that you can help out, though.
You can. As a matter of fact, you might even be able to make a little bit of coin doing so.
I heard there's an opportunity in New York City.
There is. Now, however...
It's not just for anyone, though. You see, it's not for the stupid or the slow.
No, you'll need two forms of ID, and then you'll want to have some copies, of course, to leave with them.
God, the Social Security look card. On his face when he said that.
And of course, you'll need to have two small photographs to do that. Then, of course, the pay is very reasonable, $19.14 an hour. Of course, mind you, that will be taxed. That will be reported. So no worries, you won't have to report that yourself. The state will take care of that for you. And then, if you work more than 40 hours in a week, they'll go ahead and bump that up. Go ahead and give you the double rate overtime, $28.71. So just make sure you have your papers and that you're legal, to work in New York City.
Yeah, no illegal aliens.
So if you don't feel comfortable, well, actually, if you think that you could vote in New York City, you're probably not safe doing this. Just saying. You'll when you walk up, with your shovel and the Underfuhrer there is like happens to papier. You hold out those papers, you make sure they're good, you get your stamp, you get your star, you go out and do your nose shoveling, you help out the state, help out your fellow New Yorkers, the work, it makes you happy, and you have a great day.
I was gonna say, I believe this phrase over there is "work is its own reward." So,
well, yeah, work makes you happy. Exactly, makes you free. Yeah. Actually, hard work. A hard-working person feels free. Is a good way to convey that message. Definitely, hard work. Hard work is its own reward, Craig. Just like that famous sign said. I'm done.
The question, of course, is at your local station where you can pick up the iron shovel, is it going to have an iron gate that tells you how free you are as you're working?
Well, no worries. You'll have the state mandated employee will be there to ensure that your work is of adequate quality, and I'm sure will reward you with maybe some rations or something from one of the state government stores. It's certainly due to open up any day now in New York City.
I hear they even have some mountain folk songs for this type of work. Something about loading 16 tons of human shit.
Well, 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
Deeper. Yep.
Yeah, somebody once said they sold their soul to the company store. So there is that. There is that. So let me see. Man, I would really like to get some more updates, but yeah, it looks like everything as far as Mexico is.
Well, qué horrible con los carteles.
Yeah, unfortunate. Well, anyway, you know what else is unfortunate? There was an omen today.
There was an omen.
There was.
Tell me about the omen.
Let me just copy the image over here, and
was it a dark omen?
Well, it depends.
They have some great songs.
Well, it depends on who you are. If you find yourself north of the American border, because it's all America, the northern American border, then you might be upset about something that happened today. There was a game that was lost by a country that has proven itself to be kind of a cheatery place with some people that do some cheating.
Kind of a dick, right? Kind of a dick.
Yeah, a little bit. So
double touch Mark might be involved.
So yeah,
what a fun gentleman he turned out to be, huh?
So the Canadian flag on I think Vancouver Tower, just today a bald eagle decided to land on it as they lowered the flag to half mast. By golly.
The pain.
Oh. You feel secondhand embarrassment for those poor Canucks, don't you? Oh, those poor guys.
I mean, I'd feel more embarrassed for them, but quite frankly, feeling for a Canuck is kind of hard work.
Well, that said, they did take the silver in the hockey, and they probably took it fair.
I heard silver shines just as bright. And my response to that, of course, was gold never tarnishes. So
they beat everyone after them. They beat all the other teams that aren't the USA.
They're the number one loser. Exactly.
Yeah, they tried so hard
at not being,
and they got so far, but in the end, they got a silver.
Imagine being the best loser.
Well, it is what it is.
Now, all that said, we did learn a valuable lesson from Canada regarding winning, and that is that cheating pays.
This is true. We did learn that, in regards to...
Man, what a lesson to learn from Canada.
Yeah. Thanks for filling us in on that.
Thank you, Canada, for teaching all of us that cheating pays.
Yeah, good to know. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. And just good for filling us in. Oh, since we're speaking of heads up and we're talking about Canada, we should probably talk about who didn't give Canada a heads up, and that would be OpenAI. You see, there was something we reported on last week briefly because it was getting a lot of reporting at the time. It has seemingly gone radio silent in mainstream news sources since that time. Of course, that would be the trans shooter up there in Canada. Well,
oh yes, the totally weird thing that is very much not normal.
Yeah. So what happened there?
Very much not the norm of current day, current year, current hour.
So that went, you could say, quite poorly. And what happened?
That's the word I would use.
Is you see, that shooter, they were having a conversation with old ChatGPT. And that conversation was... How'd
that combo go?
Yeah, pretty much. What would you do? How would you handle all of this here. So from the Times, let me get this together. ChatGPT basically encouraged the whole deal because ChatGPT does like to encourage you,
It's a
especially
people pleaser.
absolutely is, especially if you find yourself in one of these quote unquote marginalized groups.
Yeah. I
So
hear it's
yeah,
the thing to use for the marginalized groups.
seems to be.
You want to
Seems
get
to
that
be.
revenge. Whitey's got you down. The big man is hurting you.
Mm-hmm. So the estate is now suing OpenAI, and
Well, I
I
mean,
think they've
why
got a
blame the
pretty
person who
good
used the
case.
gun?
It's like we've got this machine that's over here saying, "Why don't you kill these people? Why don't you do that? That'd be a great idea. Why don't you just go and kill these people? It's a great idea. Why don't you do that? That sounds like a great. That would alleviate your discomfort in the world."
Yes,
Well, I mean, who
your
can
pain
say
is their
exactly?
gain.
But are you kidding me? The house looks like the Amityville house. Come on. If it didn't have the porch,
I'm
it would be
feeling
so
some
much.
heavy irony here.
Ah, man, this is just too. There are people that say there are demons trapped in AI, and sometimes you fucking wonder. I mean, jeez, that is as dark can fucking be, man. Wow. Well, I need
Good
to
vibes over there, huh?
move on to freaking anything else. So, yeah, moving on to the funnier things. So, the goalie, Canada's goalie, he had a
Right.
statement today
Yes.
regarding
Uh-huh.
their disfortune.
Regarding their losses.
Yeah, he said, quote, "We were homesick, so we got Indian food before the game. That was a mistake." Oh, man. I mean, I don't even need to write the jokes here. It's just, thanks, guys.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that I will expect something about this to be in the next Trailer Park Boys, because if it's not,
What's it? There's the song by the Ramones. They're just like hurry, hurry, hurry. Instead of that, it'd be curry, curry, curry.
yeah, it'll make you run. It'll make you
Oh,
run.
oh, oh. So what kind of curry did they get? I'm curious now. Were they going vindaloo or were they going tandoori?
Well, he didn't specify. He did not specify, unfortunately. But
Was
since
there
we're
a chorus of screams coming from the bathroom, or
again, the only reporting I have access to
Indian
is his
music?
own statement, so you'll have to use your imagination.
That's what Indian music is, right? It's a bunch of people screaming from the bathroom.
It could be. And in related news, we reported on this a few weeks back. The absolute the absolute shit show at the Potomac River with the sewage that's been just billowing out. It has largely been contained, thank goodness, and is being diverted back into the systems, but a horrifying amount of damage has been done, and a terrible amount has entered the Potomac River. But that said, just earlier today, we finally have a FEMA declaration on emergency funding.
Fucking
the White House
FEMA's involved.
Well, it's been authorized to help coordinate with disaster relief out of.
So that doesn't mean it's actually going to. Got it. Okay.
No, but that just means it has actually.
Are there Republicans in the
radar.
area? Because that's a big question now. Are there Republicans in the area? Because then FEMA.
Well, kind of not really. No, it's more of a Maryland, D.C. suburby kind of area. So,
Oh, okay. So
unfortunately,
not
monies
a
that might
Democrat
have,
stronghold, but
maybe gone towards infrastructure, maybe they didn't, or who knows? Who can say?
maybe they were spent elsewhere. I
It's
see.
it's possible. I genuinely couldn't say, but this went unreported by basically anyone but local news and Atosi online, which is quite
Hmm.
something. I mean, you'd
Curious.
think like Fox or even Newsmax, OANN,
Oh
somebody would
yeah,
pick
you'd
up
think
on it, but
so.
nah.
Maybe they're too busy wiping their ankles from all the shit they've been wading through.
Well, it's not running into DC, so that's beyond their care, I guess. As is so much. Unfortunately, that is the story of the day. But funny enough, 1 year ago, or 1 year and 2 days ago, a man said a funny thing on Twitter. That
All right.
a person that identifies as a man, Justin Trudeau.
Okay.
He said on the February the 20th of 2025, he said, "You can't take our country, and you can't take our game." Well, Justin,
Oh boy.
Alberta's got a few things to say about that, and well, so does the
Uh
hockey
huh.
team. Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, so speaking of poor performances,
Do tell.
there was something that happened in New York City. Once a lot of the recent snows did indeed melt, there was
Mm.
some blame going around.
There was. They were saying that
And
people had been walking their dogs a lot. I understand.
yeah, you see, yeah. The funny thing is,
A lot of dog walking.
a lot of that poop was not dog poop.
Hmm.
This is
You
kind
don't
of an
say.
unspoken thing up there. Yeah, the whole and we'll get to the Randy Fine bit because I think that's just fucking beautiful. But the kind of genesis of that somehow dogs are pooping and therefore this is the problem. A lot of that's human poop. It's kind of like it's San Francisco esque, 100%.
Yeah. The one thing that Imam Mondani's rulership over the Caliphate of New York City might reveal in his mandate that all dogs stay indoors. It could prove very interesting when they look at the city streets, the shitty
Yes,
streets,
it could
shall we
prove
say?
very interesting.
It could, spark a movement, perhaps even, as it were. Oh man.
Yeah. So anyway, as I just touched on before that, Randy Fine, who's been I'm liking him. He's a character. He's been doing pretty damn well in Congress. Pushing a bill. You can't be in Congress if you're a dual citizen. That was one of my favorites. But then just recently, the protecting dogs or protecting puppies from Sharia bill. Can't remember what the exact wording of the phrase or the title was, but something to that effect. It basically he responded to a particularly nasty Palestinian creature that hangs out with Mamdani up in New York. That basically said, finally New York City is coming to Islam. Basically we're not going. Dogs don't have to. Dogs are not indoor pets. Just to paraphrase. So he responded, again paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact wording, something to the effect of, "If we're forced to choose between Islam and dogs, the choice is simple." It's an easy
Oh
choice to make.
yeah. Yeah, credit where it's due.
Which,
I did mention last week he said some dumb shit. This week he said some good shit.
hey, he does that. So yeah, that coupled with the protecting puppies from Sharia bill, just fucking chef's kiss. Has all the correct people extraordinarily upset over the dumbest thing. And again, the idea here isn't that dogs are better than Muslims or anything like that. It's that if forced to choose, and there's a key distinction there, the implication of New York City is coming to Islam is that there's a compelled choice there, that New York City is forced to choose between Islam and dogs. It's like that is the easiest one to make. And again, most of that dog poo is not from dogs. It's from homeless people.
Yep. Yep, indeed.
They're walking in human shit and going, dog shit. It's like, look, you guys go ahead and get rid of the dogs from the city. You go ahead and do that. You guys, you do that anti-American culture thing. More power to you. You're gonna still be wading through human shit.
Yeah, unfortunately,
just like San Francisco.
Folks kind of have to learn.
They're learning. There's actually been some outcry against Mamdani and his crowd of Mamdaniites.
Hmm?
Yeah, there's been some voter outrage.
Yeah.
From some of the, it's just a little bit of voter regret, you might say.
Yeah.
Some
folks are
finding out that
not super happy with.
So
the way things
something to clarify on what he said prior about the budget. Now he mentioned there are two paths. The one path is where they raise taxes by 2% on the millionaires and so on, or whatever the cutoff is. Doesn't matter. The other path is the one where they raise property taxes by 10% and raid the rainy day fund for just the next fiscal year. Now, what he does not say, and this is the reason why everyone else has seized on it and saying that he specifically said the stuff about the second path, what he does not say is that the governor has to approve this massive price hike on having money, and that is categorically not going to fucking happen. That is more than moonshot kind of not going to happen.
So that would imply that
he's going to raise everyone's
have to do what he can do.
Yeah, which is to raise everyone's rent 10% plus. Everyone is going to have an income tax increase. Everyone's going to have all the free shit's not going to happen. The rainy day fund is going to get raided. Now, of course, later on we're going to hear some things like, how could this happen?
Oh yeah, there's
I got a good answer for you, folks. You're how it could happen. You are just the people that he needed to make this happen.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of politicians and their missteps. Oh yeah, and Islam, for that matter. Pretty good segue. Mike Huckabee was on Tucker, a very, very controversial interview. A lot of people had a lot to say on both sides of the issue, and fair point to both of them, But he did say something that echoed in the halls of the East, and sent a not great message. Kind of just greenlit Israel to just rule over everyone over there, or at least that's the message received. And
no, he did not do that.
Well,
I'm just going to go ahead and push back on that right now, because that was what Tucker published, and what was actually published, what was actually said was more than that.
Nonetheless, what has happened from
Saudi Arabia is upset that they saw what Tucker published, and that's what Tucker's paid to do.
Nonetheless, we are in a bit of a weird situation, because it is not just Saudi Arabia. It's Jordan, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey, Indonesia, Qatar, Lebanon, Kuwait, Pakistan, Bahrain, Oman, Palestine, who cares, and Syria, also who cares, but also the OIC, the Arab League, and the Gulf states. So
yeah, it's what was it, OIN or whatever the fuck it is, the Organization of Arab States.
Yeah, so it has probably not done well for the plans
This is
for
the
the
predictable outcome.
announced plans, I should say, of a strike on Monday on Iran, which may do well, honestly, because
Again, it's what Tucker is paid to do.
maybe whatever, but either way, if it buys Iran a little bit of time to be reasonable, which I have an update on that specifically, it seems like they're rather willing to be reasonable.
No, they're not.
Well,
I'm going to just help you out with that one. Everything they do as far as reasonableness is entirely to give themselves more time.
well, they've been a month away from the nuke since I've been a kid, so
from Iran. The leadership is fleeing from Iran. They are wiring all of their funds out of Iran right now.
well, then get them the fuck out of there. If they're leaving, let them go. Fuck.
Well, that's kind of the part of it. That's kind of the point of that. But, like, again, the leadership is wiring all of their funds out of the country. If they leave and then they leave the military on high alert and they say, you know, basically as they're walking out the door, defend the country to the death.
Well, that's what I was getting to,
That's
actually, because it appears that they are willing to come to the table in a more genuine way than before. Or I don't know if I'm more genuine, but more generous.
This is in the context of Khomeini saying that if they want, Khomeini saying the U.S. wants to negotiate nuclear power in Iran, and if their position is that Iran does not have nuclear power, then there is no negotiation.
Indeed,
so they are not going to negotiate on that.
Well,
and that is where we dealt with them last time. And again, we have like a lot of stuff over there.
Indeed, we do.
Are you with us?
And more still on the way. But like I said,
we airlifted. We're doing a massive airlift. We got a third of our assets in motion.
Indeed, we do. Indeed, we do. But so, an official statement out of Tehran has said that they would seriously consider a combination of both sending half of their most enriched uranium abroad to Russia or wherever decided upon.
That's not happening.
Diluting the rest and taking part in creating a regional enrichment consortium, which has actually been raised in prior years. So it's something. And yeah, if it gets them out, then I mean honestly, that's the best for the Iranian people. They need leadership more like the Shah, which
they do,
as I have stated numerous times, was an absolute disaster and mistake in deposing by our allies directly, and in allowing to be deposed by us.
Well, Carter was a pussy.
Well, and very possibly assisted in the actions, which is even more garbage. But I expect nothing but garbage from nothing but garbage from that fella. So, Steve, what's the updates? How's the things?
Yeah, how's life, Steve?
Getting enough sleep?
I have a dozen different microphones and controls and switches that I have to figure out which one I'm on. But I'm assuming you guys can hear me now.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, everything's going pretty well. Baby's pretty chill.
No, well, that's excellent news.
Yeah, it's more of a sleep shift. Like for the folks who didn't get parental leave, this would suck because he's matching roughly what his sleep wake cycle was in the womb. Because you have the mammalian travel response, and so when you're up during the day, the baby is essentially quiet and asleep, and that's actually one of the ways you can get them to sleep. Is you walk around for about 5 minutes, and so all of a sudden, right at bedtime, you'll find the women folk are like, "Oh, the baby's all active all of a sudden." And it used to be what it was every night, and so from 12 to 4, he's usually pretty wide awake, and so if you did not have parental leave, that would kind of suck. I could shift my sleep schedule. I'm a night owl anyways. Not a big deal for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So it's going pretty well.
No, good to hear. Good to hear. And I will say I am very glad that close to the border as you may be, you are not on the other side of it. because we've got some further horrifying news directly related, I guess you might say, if you were misfortunate enough to be over
Canada?
there. Oh, yes, sir. They are advancing their MAID plan, possibly to include children without parental consent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so
the slippery slope has manifested.
oh,
What a
Waiting
fucking
to put your
surprise.
babies.
I think we've
Okay.
gone from slippery slope to they have a fucking greased
Free
slide
fall.
on this thing. Yeah, flat out.
Fucking free fall right now.
Yeah, it's.
Well, the euthanasia argument is an interesting one because there's an ethics case to be made on either end, right?
Sure.
And ultimately, the principal reason why government-run healthcare should not have the option for euthanasia is that it will act in its best interests,
Exactly.
and that is not good.
Not yours.
No.
Notice that they just killed a kid up there who had seasonal affective disorder.
Yep. And boy, they could have moved to Florida and not dealt with seasons.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
We have seasons, God damn it! You just don't.
You don't
notice
have
them.
winters, and if you do, they're a
We
couple
do.
of days.
We have winters. We have 2 a year. There's one during the winter, and there's one during the summer. It's fucking dry outside.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a different deal though. A little bit, you know.
Yeah, we got 4 seasons. But they're both like, there's 2 rainy and there's 2 not so rainy.
But well, just to expand on what's in here.
We don't have autumn.
Fair. So anyway, the Special Joint Committee on Medical Assistance in Dying was tabled at House of Commons. So this is out of the 15th of this month. They had called for a drastic expansion of MAID. Amongst other wonderful ideas, they recommended expanding it to, quote, mature minors. Recommendation 19 in the report states that the government of Canada establish a requirement that, where appropriate...
Hold on. I got a question about what mature minor means. Are these the minors, when they say, like, oh, she has an old soul?
Well, I've got it right here. I've got recommendation 19 as they explain it. So I'll just read it off to you, so that you can have ultimate clarity. I'll just read it in the very words of the Government Commission and their recommendation. That the Government of Canada establish a requirement that, where appropriate, the parents or guardians of a mature minor be consulted in the course of the assessment process for MAID, but that the will of a minor who is found to have the requisite decision-making capacity ultimately take priority.
Oh, she's an old soul.
Yeah, don't you know? Don't you know there?
That wasn't rape. It was the child had the ability to consent.
The working group said it wasn't convinced that there was a meaningful difference, but for the patient, quote, being between consensually assisted in dying, in the case of MAID, and being consensually allowed to die, in the case of refusing life-sustaining interventions, end quote.
I think it's a child. It doesn't have the right to say any of this shit.
Yeah,
because it has parents.
You'll ask the parents, and that's what you'll do.
Now that's actually an issue.
Yeah,
if you're
exactly,
isn't it?
Exactly, Sam. It's not a slippery slope anymore. It is an elevator shaft that they just. It was a kiddie slide into the elevator shaft, basically. Yeah. Oh man, didn't intend that.
Yeah, I was gonna seize on that one.
Yeah, well, somebody else might be seizing after hearing that.
I think you're correct. I think that any of the adults following them are gonna be sliding on something else.
What's this?
Oh, yeah, no, just...
Sorry, I had to go take care of the baby for a minute.
Well, that's kind of what we were talking about. Canada will be doing the same. Canada will be doing the same.
Taking care of them.
Well, if it's a mature minor, an old soul, as it were. But, quite literally, a, quote, mature minor
being raped
can, make that decision. If they want to die, then, well, that's on that child.
Yeah, well, that's again, that's the slippery slope. It's the inevitable outcome of government-run healthcare.
Yeah.
So you can either have one or the other. Hold on, I gotta go do babies.
No worries.
I choose life.
Oh,
You know.
speaking of having to do baby stuff, we should probably just mention that Barrister Keir Starmer, was
Yes.
in charge of.
There's Starmer.
He was in charge of something some years back. You may be familiar with the BBC. They do some media. They also have
The
a
BBC.
they have a radio arm, BBC Radio. There was
BBC News.
there was a fella who we are told from reliable sources is a stepbrother, or well, not stepbrother because there wasn't any marriage, a half brother of sorts to an Albert of Windsor, believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
And white hair most of his life, a man by the name of Jimmy Savile. And
Yeah.
well, Jimmy Savile came to the attention of the Crown and the prosecution, and well, Barrister Starmer, well, he was in charge of the prosecution, director of public prosecutions, as a matter of fact, when Jimmy Savile, Jimmy Savile, accused of approximately 450 noted abuses of minors.
Oh, only 450.
Well, those are the ones we know.
Hardly
of.
in the running then, huh?
Well, again, those are the ones we know of. Well, anyway, he felt the most prudent thing to do at the time was to decline to prosecute, and then of course, to drop the case. But the best thing to do with cases like that, especially like if you're at the FBI and you have the Epstein case, you delete the footage in that case. Well, in this case, you delete the case file because you don't need that.
Uh-huh.
And then the guys at the BBC, they don't want to have all those records around, so they get rid of those too, As you do. As you do.
Yeah, I heard there was going to be some deletion going on over there. Some vital records of public interest, some records of note.
Yeah, that would not be an inaccurate statement. So,
man, if only there were copies of those things floating around somewhere.
If only. So, old Starmer, he's got a real track record in not prosecuting the mass rape of British girls. How about that? How about that?
Call me a cockroach's dog because I am shocked.
It's it's something. It'll put you in your place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I had to. But yeah, it's it's just so
it's aggravating.
So bad.
Yeah.
But there you go. Oh, speaking of so bad, just as everybody's been digging through the emails, you know which ones. If you'd like to look at them yourself, you can always just check out Gmail. They're all there, sorted, and you can read through them as if you were looking at them from
as if you had access to the computer himself.
Indeed,
or the computer itself, rather.
Like you were just sitting in an office at Little St. James, just reading your emails. Well, on Friday, December 28th, 2018, at 2:18, Masha Drakova sent a message to jeevacation@gmail.com stating that Katya has a law firm, corporate law. She also understands blockchain regulations and ecosystem well. Alesia is a film director. She's working on human rights VR movie. Alexandra is an actress and an art expert, has business ideas. All of them are smart, high energy, and great, sent via superhuman iOS, I guess through via iPhone or something. To which jeevacation@gmail.com replied, "Your friend Aleza told me about the project she is doing, researching a really bad guy that gets children for sex sent to his island. She almost fainted when I told her that person is me." Man, you don't think they're going to just say it, and then they just say it.
They just say it.
It's like all this pizza, all this fucking jerky.
if you watch the Bannon interview, right? The Bannon interview with Epstein,
Yeah.
pretty upfront about who and what he is. Like, it's not even a.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think one of the things that
Proud of it.
may actually be a perspective that's valuable to our audience is not something from me, but I've run small businesses and done a bunch of other stuff. But one of the small businesses I had was TV repairs, and so I drove out to the middle of fucking nowhere in New York, and was fixing this guy's TV at like 8 o'clock at night. I was just like, hey, it's really late. I can come tonight, or I can go wherever. I'm already out there. It was just
Purdy mouth.
yeah. And so he's okay, but the guy happened to be an ex. He was the assistant attorney general for the state of New York, and
You don't say.
and so he had switched out of that role from a while back. This was a while back. He switched out of that role into a training role for attorneys generals, district attorneys, to, like, basically what is the updates to the laws? What does this mean for you in your cases and your prosecutions? Those kind of continuing education type stuff for the state of New York. But he talked about it, and he said that he really missed being a prosecutor. And I was like, that's got to be a real tough job. You got to deal with some of the worst of the worst. She goes, yeah, and I was really good at getting confessions. And I said, well, like, that's it. What did you do? He goes, you just talk to him. You just talk to him, and you sit down with him, and you're as empathetic as you possibly can be. And you just sit there. When they turn around and they say that 8-year-old girl was looking at you in a way and you knew what she really wanted, you'd be like, yeah, I can understand how that happens. And then these people, right, like, we think what they're doing is monstrous and terrible. But these people do not have a moral hang-up about what they're doing. No. And so if you talk to them in an open environment, they're gonna be fucking open about it. And it's scary. Like, it's freaking terrifying.
This was
like,
actually
not good people.
This was actually touched on in the Amazon series, The Expanse. One of the ways that they get the confessions out of the people who are doing experiments on children. His exact example was like, hey, have you ever talked to a pedophile? And the guy's like, no. Well, you can't just go in there and, like, accuse them of things. No. It basically went down exactly that road. I mean, it's true. It's 100% true. That's exactly how that kind of stuff goes. They will. Yep. They will tell you all about it.
They're fundamentally your friend, right? Like, and if you watch any of the true crime stuff when they're showing the videos from, like, in the police station, that's what they do. They sit down with these people. They'd be like, hey, I understand the situation that you were in. And you're like, yeah, they've got video evidence of him sitting there and raping 3 children and having sex with their dead bodies. And like, the little narrator will come in with that, and you're like, okay. And they're like, look, I understand. It's a tough day. Sometimes you just need to stick your dick in something bloody. And that's just the way it is. And you're like, holy fucking shit, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And there's Evan like, yeah, that's totally what I have to do.
Having read over all of these fucking emails, man, it ties right into another point I was gonna make on it, which is just more horror, unfortunately.
I think the general takeaway point, of course, is don't rape children.
Yeah, don't do that. But unfortunately. Definitely don't do that. But unfortunately, a point we touched on in the last show about the interview with the lady that was, familiar and, in these same circles,
right? That
said, if you're not in the files, then you're a nobody. And that was Lady Victoria Hervey, the daughter of the 6th Marquess of Bristol. So, a big muckety muck. And
man, it seems like there's an issue there with British royalty. What's going on with that? It really
fucking does. So I've got a full interview with her that's on the.
Like, look, obviously you weren't worthy of being a pedophile's playmate. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
But the terrible part about this is how blasé she is about it, which tells you that it's very
Right up her
normal.
alley.
It's just oh, well, if you're not, then who the fuck are you? It's not just normalized. It's like, it's who the fuck are you if you're not doing this? And on that note, just as a very quick aside, there's not a Bush name in there. That motherfucker was just evil for fucking evil's sake. Wow.
It's
Just
the fun kind of evil, though. You know, the one where you're on crack.
I mean, cocaine is a hell of a drug, as a man once said.
As a philosopher, a great philosopher of our time said.
Yeah. Man, what a crazy timeline we found ourselves in. But I've got a link to the full interview with Lady Victoria Hervey that'll be in there if anybody wants to actually give that a look. It's like about an hour long, so you'll undoubtedly find it quite informative. Undoubtedly. Oh, man. But, yeah, somehow, just not out here doing it for Israel, not out here doing it because of blackmail, just, well, you know, fool we can't get fooled again.
Look now, a penny spent is, it's 1 cent.
That's a fact.
Don't do drugs, kids.
There you go. Now,
except for cocaine.
Now, if you're looking to maybe get more than a few cents, I believe the current deal going on right now. There's a jeweler by the name of Trax NYC. He's offering an ounce of gold to anyone who is able to fend themselves. Because this back to the whole files thing, as I had mentioned before, you know, with some of the weird code words, because apparently some of them don't even bother with them, but some do. There's a doctor by the name of Harry Fish who had some communications with Jeffrey Epstein talking about...
Harry Fish.
Yes, Harry Fish, Dr. Fish. And, well, if you'd
Dr.
like an
Harry
ounce of gold, you know, you can... Let me actually get Trax NYC's information here, his pizza and grape soda challenge, because, you know, Dr. Harry Fish, he's talking about pizza and grape soda, which is quite the interesting choice in dinners, I guess, for a man of his stature. But hey, you know, maybe he's a jerky lover, and maybe he likes ice cream, maybe he likes Chicago hot dogs.
Sounds like he likes Harry Fish.
Maybe, or fish that isn't hairy, for that matter. You know, I mean, yeesh.
Could be.
Well, anyway, if you want an ounce of gold, I'll throw a link up to Trax NYC's deal here. But all he asks is that
relevant.
You get yourself on video asking Dr. Harry Fish what he and Mr. Epstein were chatting about when they were talking about pizza and grape soda. But if you, you know, ounce of gold,
Does the 1 ounce of gold come in a little bag? It's like convenient for wrapping around your neck.
I mean, you can do whatever you want with it. It's actually just one of the little, like, troy ounce deals. Which,
well, I mean, I think that Craig's principal question is how much blood is on this gold, because he's got a minimum.
well, you
know, there really has to be a certain number of Palestinian children who have been sacrificed in or around this gold for him to be interested.
Oh, man, yeah.
I mean, it's just not worth it.
Interested mind.
He's already got. Craig already has control of the world. He doesn't need more gold. It's just.
I just need to make sure that it has Zog stamped right on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, there you go.
See, Steve's been hearing about the meetings. He's been reading the meeting notes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm an honorary Jew. I get to stand outside and learn what's happening in the world.
He gets to stand in the rain next to the dog poo.
Right, like at the hotel at the
Hotel California, yes.
At the hotel where they all gather, I get to sit in the cuck chair.
Well, I'm told you can check out, but you can never leave. So there is that. There is that.
Oh, you can check it out.
But I did hear a funny, a really funny joke that you can use this anytime. Putting this out there for anybody. And that, of course, is are you seriously showering right now? Of course, the follow-up being Coca-Cola is generating 70,000 AI slop ads, and you're in there wasting their data center water. How dare you?
Damn right I am.
Just.
I tell you, the AI thing, like AI is going to be ubiquitous, and I understand that. But one of the most fascinating conversations that I ended up having over this weekend, because I've got a lot of time now, I can actually be on the Twitters, and so I've gotten to argue in abortion Twitter, and I've gotten to argue in feminist Twitter. And I can't remember. Slavery Twitter. Slavery Twitter's fun, right? Good times. But one person actually accused me of having an AI generated response, and I'm like, no, I wrote that whole thing out myself. Thank you very much.
This is 100% authentic,
handmade.
And the funny part was that you just love the game. I'm like, no. See, the problem with AI, and this is what they sent me like 2 AI responses as a rebuttal to that, and I was laughing at the whole thing because, one, I did the whole thing without AI, and 2, their responses with AI were fundamentally wrong because what we've talked about it many times here, right? The problem with AI is that it doesn't understand what it's saying. Like, it is nothing more than a regurgitation, right? There's no comprehension. So when you happen to be making an argument or a specific argument, you as a human being can split hairs and talk about specifics and nuances and specific terms, whereas the AI will not have the AI. Most people don't have a really good understanding of probability and what that means. Right? AI has zero understanding of probability and what that means, right?
More or less, it doesn't understand things. Like, that's not what they think.
And so these 2 people, right? They were arguing with me in my whole entire thing. They're like, "Well, you said this, and the AI said that you're wrong." I'm like, "Yeah, but the AI doesn't understand my argument." Like, that's you're correct. The AI did say I was wrong, but like. Ultimately, I said this is the case. Like there's this case of this one of these fucking activists. Yeah, one of these activists. They turn around. They found this story about some woman from about 1850. She is the first woman to have undergone gynecological surgeries for a specific set of conditions, and it's basically she's shitting and pissing in an open womb because her entire underside was wrecked in childbirth, and she had fistulas connecting all the various things. There we go. You're hearing the monstrous sounds of a very full baby.
A child, yes.
Yeah. We they get milk drunk. It's so fucking funny. You dump, like, eventually they run out of titty juice, and then you're like, all right, I'll give you formula right up until you're full, and then they just like pass out and they can't move. It's like they go hardcore food coma. It's the greatest thing in the world. And then it's just belching, and they are the fucking loudest farters. Like, holy shit, dude! It's like an airline taking off and landing, and I do not understand. I'm like, man, your butthole must be really, really tight. And having done diaper changes, I can honestly say all of us boys, we were fingered in the asshole as babies. That definitely happened because you got to get those chunkies, man. Got to get that baby cheese.
I have heard stories such as that. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But so sorry about that. But yeah, so it's a pretty horrifying case, right? But the argument is that this woman was a slave. She couldn't consent, and she underwent the procedure without anesthesia. And so I'm like, wow, that sounds pretty terrible. And I go take a look it up. And what is it turns out back in 1850, anesthesia had only been like demonstrated in humans once 10 years prior.
Right.
It wasn't common practice.
Was not common.
And so you know, they turn around, they describe her being strapped down to the board. I'm like, yeah, that sounds terrible. But like, she was also provided opiates for pain management. Like that's basically what they did back then. You got cut into. Yeah, you were lucky if you got a fucking whiskey shot. They used opiates as an analgesic. As you know, they were testing that on the whole thing. And they're like, yeah, but the guy was really racist. I'm like, yeah, some guy from 170 years ago is racist. That's a fucking newsflash. Yeah. Like,
I'm sorry, but like everybody today still talks about their racist uncle or racist grandfather.
Oh yeah, or better yet, no, all the guys in World War II, you know, they were freedom fighters. They were Antifa. I dare you. I fucking dare you. Hop in your old time machine, and just give.
Please do, yeah. I want to hear. I want to hear the story.
Never mind that I've seen for my own eyes the words of at least 2 British World War II veterans, and Sonny Jim, they don't agree with that statement. I'll tell you that much. No. I'll tell you, one of them was breaking down because he said literally that he didn't fight for this. And if that doesn't break your fucking heart, then I don't know what's going to. Oh, but, you know, and I guess a good piece of good news, New York City has decided that it is going to be cooperating with the federal government, like I said earlier, so that they can make sure the IRS has all of that information related to any withholdings necessary for the snow volunteer work there, just as a reminder. So, again, you're not going to have to report that. The state is going to already have it. They're going to get that out there for you. You know, Zoran,
what are they doing?
Oh, well, you know, it's snowing and everything up there, right? And you know, the last time it snowed in New York City, it didn't go super great. So Zoran has put together his Zoran Youth or what have you to go out and his Snow Corps or whatever. And of course, to go out and become a member, you know, you'll have to have your papers and a couple of photos, a few photo IDs, and you know, some copies in a duplicate only. You don't have to have them in triplicate. Duplicate is adequate to go out and assist with the shoveling. And of course, if you do so, obviously you will be compensated fairly at the minimum wage. And if you know, obviously being compensated, you'll have to be taxed for those, you know, for those charitable hours you're volunteering. So they'll make sure that the IRS is fully aware of each and every penny that is earned as you assist the city in digging itself out of its own problems. Honk, honk, as they say.
You are alluding to something that I do not know, nor do I understand. So I suppose I probably.
Mom Donnie, he's running the city as one might expect.
He's running the city as well as you can expect him to.
Yeah, they were already sitting there. What was it? I know that they tried to get like taxes raised throughout New York State for some reason, so that they like didn't have to raise them in New York City. That didn't go very far.
Yeah, we were talking about that just a minute ago. Like that's not going to happen. So yeah, like Hochul's basically like, that's dead in the water, and so that means that,
rainy day fund is going to be rated, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
et cetera.
Personal property taxes.
And I will offer that that's awfully early to have a problem. Like he hasn't been in there long enough to create a problem.
February's not even over. February's not even over, and
I have a sneaking suspicion that some of this or a lot of this is stuff that he inherited.
Wouldn't surprise me.
A small amount of it. So, like, the part of the budget shortfall he's facing is due to Eric Adams.
Yep,
that's just a fact.
Yeah,
now,
he did not.
The other side of that, now his budget issues go into 2027, and those are his to fix. And the problem is, his solution is a 2% tax on the ultra wealthy, you know, as they make new brackets. And of course, that's not going to happen. Hochul's going to tell him to pound sand, like that. So when he talks about the alternatives to that, as being alternatives, what he's doing is lying because he knows he's not going to get his 2% tax. He's trying to use peer pressure, basically, public pressure on Hochul to get her to approve that 2%, and it's just not going to happen. And
Yeah.
like the thing is, anybody could have predicted this, except for Mamdani voters, it would seem. Because they're totally fucking retarded.
And like, you know, when Hochul first came in, when they kicked Cuomo out, I was very concerned because of her stances. And so I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that she is good on any particular issues. By no means am I saying that. But she doesn't just know who her donors are, she understands the state. Like, one of Cuomo's biggest mistakes was he basically ruled as if Albany was New York City. And New York is very much a state divided. We have, it wasn't too long ago that we were attempting to get a referendum to split basically everywhere but the 5 boroughs from the state of New York. And so Hochul has certainly much more than Cuomo did, understands that we are not like the city, right? So she gets up in front there and talks the progressive game, and she absolutely does talk the progressive game. She talks it non-fucking stop.
Oh, yeah.
But if you actually look at like how she runs the state, it is not in any way remotely like she basically doesn't do anything that the New York City folks or progressives want. And I know Mamdani was saying, oh, well, New York City is pays or what is it? They get 40% back from the state. The last time I looked at the numbers, they pay in like 53% and they get back like 47 when you account for things like pensions. But the reality is that they're not counting for things like pensions because the pensions are funded by the state, not by the city.
Right.
And so, like, the reason the rest of New York State is like, yeah, no big deal is basically the global hub of finance in the world does not significantly contribute to the New York State budget. They think they do. But, like, they also cost a lot of money.
Oh,
like, a lot of money.
Imagine all the fucking programs in that
for
city?
something that is a fraction the size, they cost a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, that city can't be cheap.
No. They, it is. Yeah, I either way, I thought it was interesting to see that. I looked at that. I'm like, that's a little bit too early to have problems. But yeah, if you're talking about him sitting there presenting the 2027 and 2028 budgets, yeah, he's not going to get his goals.
He's trying to push out through 2027 and demand this 2% tax increase. And it's just not going to happen because Hochul's going to say no every time. And so his alternative plans include a 10% tax increase on property owners and renters, which is doubly hilarious given his rent control rhetoric.
Yep.
And also reining the rainy day fund, which means that they will have was it 900 some odd million through in 2026 and another 300 and something million in 2027. Basically, he's going to raid 99% of the rainy day fund. And that's his solution, mind you.
Yep.
Creating a new problem for this guy, which will probably be
and this is
funnier. This
is the big problem that a lot of these socialists have. And I give him credit, right? He does have a kind of a come to Jesus moment on the budget, right? And he had the come to Jesus moment real fucking tough or real fucking early. And he also sat there and like presented it to everyone.
He did.
Like, yeah, I actually like, again, I think Mamdani is the appropriate candidate for New York City. What he was running against was just fucking terrible. And so like, no, of course he won that race.
Right.
But at the same time, I do give him credit for like actually talking about the budget. Now, granted, he's not willing to cut anything, and the what is it, the cost per person is like 3 or 4 times that of something like of a state like Florida.
Yep.
But yeah,
we're drowning and winning down here.
Okay, so I've got some numbers. We're looking at, according to Comptroller Mark Levine, as of the January 16th budget, looks like their current fiscal year, which will end in June, they're looking at a shortfall of $2.2 billion.
Ooh, it's not a small number.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And estimated projections out of Comptroller Levine, as of right now, are at a $10.4 billion gap at this moment for fiscal year 2027.
That's painful.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. That's a fucking lot of money. Oh.
Good God.
I mean,
$2 billion in your pocket. I don't have $2 billion in my pocket.
And let's be very clear here, right? Like a lot of this, some of this is carryover in terms of policy and deficits and spending from COVID, right? And it's not just Eric Adams. It's like
Yeah, you're right.
New York City basically championed the let's shut down the entire economy. And of all of the places that are most sensitive to let's shut down the entire economy, it's New York City. And so, like, they basically shot themselves in the fucking chest in order to spite Trump.
Yeah.
And, like, it sucks, but this is the price. It did. They won. They got what they wanted.
Exactly.
They got what they wanted.
So let me just ask our friend Grok here, what would happen if they do the 9.5% tax? And let me just do the numbers here.
What would happen to my rent? That's the question to ask.
Okay, so if nothing, and I want to be specific here, we want to make sure that nothing changes, no businesses leave, no tax revenue goes away, everything stays as it is, and they don't have a mass exodus. Wink. So let me see here. If they do that, now mind you, $10.6 billion shortfall. Oh, sorry, $10.4 billion. Could be more, but that's projected as of just right now, or just as of last month. So who knows what other programs they'll come up with in the meanwhile. Anyway, so with that, we would be looking at approximately $3.7 billion in additional revenue. I'm seeing a bit of a discrepancy there.
Huh.
So that's with no changes, no tax base leaving, no businesses leaving, no billionaires leaving.
That's the fun thing about Marxism, isn't it? Is fuck the rich until all of a sudden they're gone. So you're the rich.
Well, thanks for running the math and running the numbers for me there, Grok. That's good to know. Good to know. Boy,
thank the help. That's not what they're for.
Boy, you can really feel the warm embrace of communism, can't you?
Can't you?
You can. It's hugging you. It's hugging you so tight you're losing your breath and also reaching into your wallet at the same time. Boy, you'd be hard pressed to ask for a better time than that. But
it sounds like a very healthy system they've got going over there. Very sustainable.
Right.
Green, you could say.
Yeah, well, they are after the green. That's for sure. That's for sure. But in other brilliant and thoughtful current year governance, out of Colorado, we've got Senator Matt Ball and Representative Amy Paschal have put together a bill, SB 26051. Don't know if you guys probably heard about this, Steve. You might have missed this one. But what it's going to do, should this go through, it would require operating systems, Windows, Linux, SteamOS, whatever, to perform age verification at the startup, at system level.
They want to lock you out of your operating system.
Via API.
And this is all
Wow.
this is all coordinated. Yeah, this is a coordinated attempt to lock down infrastructure in a way that they have the ability to kick you off of your own fucking computer.
Yeah.
Just like that is the end goal, is to be able to tell you when and where you are able to access information and compute power. Period. And it is a disgusting overreach, and it is being actively combated. And it's one of those things that's not. It's you got to punch the shark on the nose. It's not going to go away until they are told to fuck off, like very harshly.
Oh yeah.
And even then, it's so alluring to them to be able to control people. Like, think of it like this: they fucked up so hard that they are no longer able to even feign being able to control the people at the ballot box. Like, that is just not going to be possible for them for a long time. This is the next step. This is what they got. For the children, you have to give up your ability to access your own computer on your terms whenever the fuck you want to. It has to be basically a piece of property of the state.
Now, to be fair, the request being made, and I've said this, the request itself is not unreasonable, and the presentation also is not, but the execution is absolutely barbarous and monstrous. So what they're asking is, to be completely fair, just to put it out there, is that they want you to have a text verification of a yes, I am older than. But that's always where it starts. It always starts somewhere, and if they can require one thing,
you want to get straight to your porn.
Another.
I get you. I'm right there with you.
No, when I log on, my confirmation of access to my computer is that I am who I am. That's why I have a fucking password.
Right?
After
that you secure your computer in your home that you own. Something.
Right. Yeah, I have the fucking keys to the house. I have the password to my computer. It's my property. I do what I want with it.
Yeah.
If I want 10 terabytes of dolphin porn from Jim's stash, I'm going to go ahead and download that.
Yeah, you could do that.
God damn, such a fucking goofy guy. So it's because again, this is the idea that the state wants to become.
I miss when they do the actual videos, but
yeah,
the
state wants to become a layer between you and your computer. That's all it is. It's a power grab. It's a flagrant, naked one, and it needs to be treated exactly as one. Otherwise, they're going to get it and they're going to start fucking you with it.
And the thing about it is, that's
never about
the foot
children.
in the door, is the thing. That's what that is.
It's never about the children.
Because even if they're like, oh no, you just have to just say that you are. That way, you're covered. It's like, well, that's where everything fucking started. We just want this one thing in this one state.
Or else what? Well, here's the question: or else what?
Oh, there's a fine.
Exactly. How are they gonna make sure that you're the one who's getting fined? It's like it's beyond the whole technical and feasibility of it. It's fucking retarded.
Oh,
like we know that you can't do this stuff. They know you can't. It's one of those if you don't ask, you don't get situations, and they're asking. We should tell them to go fuck themselves.
And on that note,
this comes in concert with California and Washington State and New York State all coming down trying to ruin the ability of people to do stuff in their own homes.
Absolutely.
So CNC 3D printing, which by the way, they count CNC as 3D printers in the Washington law. And they're going to amend the New York law as proposed to reflect that. They are coming after your ability to manufacture in your own house hard. It'll be surprised to me if at some point during this they don't propose that you need to be able to pass a background check to own a hammer.
Well, I think
somebody will file the forms necessary to register their hammer, and then it's there it is. What were you saying, Steve? Oh.
Sorry, I had to pick up the baby.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep.
He was crying. He doesn't like to be alone. So
that's what they do with their babies.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So we're gonna have the occasional cooing in the microphone.
Oh, well,
So
fair
Because
enough.
somebody just needs to be held.
Well, these things happen.
Yep. That's all right. I think we have the hiccups. It feels like we have the hiccups. So we don't like the hiccups.
Of course not.
It's okay, bud. Yeah, nobody likes the hiccups. And you got to figure a baby's got it worse than you do because they have no experience with all of the shitty times they've had the hiccups.
That's true.
They just get to learn. But yeah, I think it when you start talking about something like that, it always comes down to like where's the appropriate level of government, and the appropriate level of government at the minimum is something where everybody doesn't have to interact with it on a regular basis, right? And by regular basis, I mean certainly you shouldn't have to deal with if you are an average person, you shouldn't have to deal with the government on a day-to-day basis. That's inherently wrong. And you really shouldn't have to make your decisions based on like what the government wants you to do, right? Now, obviously, there's moral rights and wrongs there, but like you should be making the decision for what's the most just approach to things. You should be making decisions on basically how you and your contractual relations with other people go, but you shouldn't be making it based on the government.
Fair that.
Sure.
So, tying directly into this story, well, yeah, pretty much. We talked about the hack that came in on Discord's age verification and how it was quite massive. Well, there's somebody that's actually gone over this, and I just want to read over this because it's really something. The real long and short of it is everything was basically in like plain text HTML or some shit. So
that's more or less.
Yeah. So, man, I can't read this in the green text style.
They
So
done goofed.
what happens is somebody was just looking into it and finds there's a website that's got OpenAI-WatchlistDB, and seeing that in the persona.
Well, that was
systems,
interesting. Let's go
like,
look at it.
What's that? So they just type in the HTML and just go to it. Go to the hidden web address, check it out, and then they right click on it, and they what is it? You right click here and you inspect, and then on inspecting they saw everything because it was all just there. And it was all just plain texted, unencrypted.
I mean, to be fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who amongst us has not sat there and gone to a website and like changed a couple parameters in the URL and gotten the plain text of that website?
Oh,
I mean, like we've all like I have
really shitty,
I have more than a
all
few
the time
times
just to delete their
forced JSON readouts of various sites.
Yeah.
When I have stuff that I have to go fuck with.
Yeah. So what happened then upon inspecting said source code that was just completely available to just download whatever? You just right click on it and then copy paste or download it or whatever. So looking through that, and finds out that when you upload your ID and selfie, it doesn't just check your age. The AI will scan your face for, or the face you upload. Say you're one of the smart guys that uses Death Stranding or one of the numerous tools out there that's available to
just use Gmod.
these. Yeah, Gmod, whatever. Or there are specific tools that people have made for this even. So
there are.
Say you wanted to do that. And you do. Okay, now you're good. Well, you're in a database now. Forever.
Yes, you are.
And a database that is connected to... Well, okay, so if it sees that you look suspicious after running your selfie through a database of 200 different background checks, it then tracks any associated crypto wallets, and then it saves that face in a biometric database for 3 years, potentially more, but does that. Now I
remember when they told you it deletes your face. Your data is safe with them.
Uh-huh.
It turns out that was all a flat out lie.
And this is just looking through. Now, if it thinks that things are not looking right, it will flag you and send that to the feds with a suspicious activity report that will require them to further investigate your financial, police, and intel. Well, they'll send it off to basically everybody, to the cops.
Remember, the government never makes a mistake, right?
Never, ever. Never,
once.
ever. So, yeah, they were basically, just a little, just panopticoning a little bit. So if that went through, basically, it would put you into 14 categories of adverse media screenings, from terrorism to espionage, and then it'll tag your reports, send it off to intelligence agencies, but not just intelligence agencies, private agencies, all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Many different customers of many different areas, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Only the best.
Remember, these are customers. These are not just providers.
Good stuff. So, yeah, here we are.
Sounds like a Black Mirror episode, huh?
Not dissimilar. Not
Still
too
gotta
far.
watch that.
Oh, but oh man! Speaking of Black Mirrors, Governor Newsome was speaking to a black crowd in Georgia today, and he said, "I am like you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. I can't read.
I can't read.
I'm like you, black people. I can't read. I'm an idiot like you, black people." Like, wow.
He pulled a Biden. He pulled 100% of Biden. Like, I'm like you. I don't read good. You're just as capable as white kids.
Yeah, just as good. Gavin. I appreciate your honesty. I really do. He is so unrelatable to human beings, and
he is flexing all of his 960 SAT score.
Boy, he's a real specimen. They
now,
broke the mold with that one.
The question for him, of course, is that 960 out of 2400, or is that 960 out of 1600?
Oh well, he says
SAT. I have a feeling,
I don't know if he knows the difference. If we're to believe him, he says he doesn't even know that he has to go literally downstairs from his office to get a copy of his birth certificate that he lost. So, I mean, that doesn't really speak too well for him,
I mean, I'm pretty sure he doesn't know that he has to go downstairs from his office to take a shit. So, the whole birth certificate thing is, I think, a different conversation with him.
Fair. Oh man, we live in silly times. So silly, in fact, that it gets even sillier. So out of Spain,
Here it goes.
La Liga, the government agency that does their anti-piracy efforts, has blocked freedom.gov.
Yes, it has.
Because for some reason they're stating that it provides pirated content of some variety.
They're very upset about it.
To which David Peterson, who, if you're not aware, he is associated with the U.S. government, said that someone should tell La Liga that freedom.gov is a United States government website and does not, in fact, show illegal football match streams, as they claim. So that'd be nice. Oh, you silly Spaniards. First you're importing a guerrillian immigrants to destroy everything, and then you're blocking freedom.
Look, football is very important there. And by football, I mean soccer. And that's the thing. They can't even say it's stupid Americans who say that. Soccer as a word used for soccer was invented by the French. Like, just go and have a very froggy fucking day if you're going to start complaining about that shit.
Yeah, or how Spanish is the language of the native peoples.
Oh man, AOC.
Yeah, they speak it. They've been speaking
Look,
it since the Spanish
I
arrived.
did not know. I did not know that the Earth had tilted that much further towards the sun. That Venezuela is below the equator. Now, you could have fooled me. I'm pretty sure it's still above the equator. Like the whole of the fucking country. But apparently it's below.
You would think.
Thank you, Professor Occasional Cortex, for helping us all out with this. Also, the fact that it was African slaves and Mexicans who came up with cowboys and not, the country famous for the running of the bulls.
It's a funny world.
Like if these people, like, it's one of those things where you go, okay, but surely we elect smart people somewhere, right? It's like, I didn't know. In fact, we are lucky. We are lucky if we elect people of average intelligence.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems
the fact that a Democrat had to be diagnosed with and treated for brain damage before they came out somewhat sane. Like, I gotta tell you, I wish the majority of the Democratic Party in this country was like John Fetterman, because he genuinely wants the country to succeed.
It seems like the only ones that have any kind of hope at all, they have to deal with actual brain damage. It's like unless
I wish it wasn't the case.
It's like you got to take a bad fall or have a fucking stroke or something that is absolutely personality changing, or
because he used to be such a dipshit, and it was so fucking infuriating.
I disagree with that. I actually don't think that Fetterman was a dipshit prior to his accident. I don't think he really was.
He was.
I think
he was a fucking nepotistic inclusion into the system, and I don't think he had the experience to say a lot of the shit he was saying. And then
I mean, all of that
brain damage that did it. I think that he got experience finally, which has been very elucidating.
I think that I agree that he didn't have a lot of experience, but then again, like, everybody's allowed to have their opinions and try to run things. The fact that what makes him, like, who he was, he was up against Dr. Oz, and that was a terrible fucking matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Dr. Oz was gonna lose. It's one of those things where it's like, why even bother wasting the money on that candidate? And it's not because Fetterman was a hardcore progressive. It's because Dr. Oz was is a greasy shill. And that's how he comes across.
The reason he even bothered to run is why he is now the secretary of whatever the fuck department.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he ran.
Why? So that he could get a political appointment in a couple of years?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it didn't know he was going to get a political appointment necessarily, but that's how you get him, is to be that nepotistic inclusion.
Oh, and I do have an update that by the time most people are tuning into this, they'll already know. But there are no flights tomorrow going out of that area of Mexico either. So no flights.
What's going on with Mexico?
We covered this right before you get in here. Mexico is going through their sesquiannual cartel and hellhole bullshit. So los carteles están luchando de nuevo.
Yeah, so Puerto Vallarta and the basically the largest tourist region is locked down. The Guadalajara International Airport is also locked down. No flights as of now. No flights as of tomorrow. That is the update.
Well,
all right.
Eventually, they'll accept our military assistance.
Well, that is part of the update. Actually, they did. We handled the intelligence side of things in this in the op to get the leader of that cartel. But in other updates, and I'll be honest, one that I did not expect, we've got a Comet Ping Pong update. There's
really?
Yes, sir. There's a fella that alleges to be an associate of James Alefantis, and he does an interview, a short one. I'll just be including it below, but the allegations are completely explosive, and if true, validate basically everything that you've heard.
Well,
So
a lot of this comes down to if true.
if you get, yeah, as I said, the allegations, if they are true, are absolutely damning.
Well, it's huge if true, damning if true.
Now, to be fair, in the current climate,
Hell, possibly
there
even
is,
true if true.
but the long and short that James Alefonsis had concert with children, and that there is indeed a basement that is also connected, as we have that is in fact connected to those tunnels that we have mentioned that are available in the plans of the city that you can look at yourself. So he alleges that there is a connection between these. Wouldn't surprise me. They are right there. And it does have a basement. You can just look at the plans. But, you know, whatever James Alefontis says, right?
Sure.
But yeah, it's kind of a...
Man, big if true.
Yeah, very much so.
Huge if true. Possibly even true if true.
Now, you know, unsurprising, sadly, in the current climate, because that's where we are. Anyway, moving on to happier news. Let's get out of Mexico. Let's get out of there. Let's... and there's... Yeah, I'd like to say there's some good news involving Andrew getting arrested, but it's basically just to do with that he leaked secrets to Epstein. And he's already out, so, like, what are we doing here? Whatever. And they're the only ones doing arrests. Although, that said, some European nations are looking into doing some arrests related to the Epstein files. Then you've got Michael Tracy out here, who's just... I guess he just likes being difficult because there is clear-cut evidence that some bad shit happened, and it's straight out of the FBI portions of the files. And I don't know. I guess he's like, I stand. So whatever, Michael Tracy, whatever.
Oh, he can be tarded.
He can. I mean, you know, credit where it's due. He does his reporting as it's hitting, so... You know, at least he gets the shit out there. So it is what it is. So in other news, the IEEPA tariffs will be gone because SCOTUS decided to, you know, kind of set...
Somebody had stock in something.
Many trillions of dollars in global finance and planning aflame. Some $10 trillion in global financial planning has just gone poof with that. Great stuff there. Great stuff.
Well, as you do, skin a cat a different way.
Indeed, in fact, that is exactly what was happening. So shortly thereafter, the tariffs are set to be placed within 3 days with a different set of tariffs that are apparently a global tariff of either 10 or, I believe, 15%. Scott Bessent has said that they will be replaced in 3 days using Section 122. So they'll have to rework all these.
One door closes.
Indeed. So it will be handled, but it makes things very difficult for everyone, and as a matter of fact, has been stated by numerous foreign entities. And to be fair, this was already decided on in the Supreme Court. But whatever, I guess.
Some people can be as upset as they wish to be.
Are you guys talking about the new tariffs that are being used?
Yeah, the destruction of the old ones and the implementation of the new.
No. What's the difference procedurally between the two?
They're going to have to rewrite a bunch of the treaties and shit like that because it's meant to work this way. It'll have to. Everybody's got to do a whole bunch of paperwork, basically.
That's kind of what I figured. We talked about it briefly yesterday,
I can't
and I was
say
like,
because
yeah,
we'll
like
have to see how they actually drop. They haven't yet, but based on what we're hearing, it's going to be a lot of procedural bullshit, basically.
Yep. There's always multiple ways to do things.
Yep.
But
it's pretty much exactly the kind of outcome we were discussing.
But speaking of bad outcomes, just as a real quick, we've got some numbers, by the way, on that Persona, the Persona hack, the actual hack, the one where all the data got out.
Yeah, not the
one we were just talking about. Exposes
Yeah.
about 1 billion personnel records across 26 separate countries.
Yeah, that'll put your panfish down for a hot minute.
So, there you go.
Now,
in
they were asking for it. Just look at what they were wearing.
Yep. That's how it'll happen. That's how it'll happen. Went out dressed like that.
Chanced on the world stage.
And on the same note of being absolute embarrassments on the world stage, and tying back into that same incident related to ChatGPT and OpenAI, there's a little girl who was going to have a funeral in Canada. Past tense, not in relation to the girl, sadly. That much is obvious. No, the funeral itself has been canceled because these absolute fucking monsters have made it unsafe to hold a funeral for a dead child. Because they are sending in so many threats to the funeral home, to the people involved.
Why are they doing that?
Because I don't know. Because they are evil made manifest. Because demons are real, I guess. I don't know how to answer that any other way.
What's their stated motivation?
Oh, well, come
on.
They haven't stated what the specific threats given to them are. Just that these.
No, the people making the threats. What are the stated motivation for the people making the threats?
We don't have their specific threats. Just that they were dangerous enough to cause the funeral to be shut down. And this is Canada,
but like there has to be an underlying motive, right? Like it's not just random.
Oh,
so what provoked all of this?
I don't have the specific statements or threats that were made to the funeral home or the funeral service, so I just can't tell you. Just that they were deemed serious enough by the RCMP that they had to shut it down. Let me see if I can find out here.
Do we know what language the threats were made in? Like, was it Hindi? Was it Farsi? Was it Canadian?
Let me see here. We're going to look for anything related.
Was it feminist?
Yeah, it was Anita Sarkeesian herself calling it in. That's what it was. No, it was Zoe Quinn calling from the UN. That's why they treated it as
so it wasn't Danish,
verifiable or something. I don't even know.
God, yeah, some people might believe that kind of shit. Shit.
So who's the individual who was going? What's the name of the person?
Okay, so it was Kylie Smith. And the funeral was canceled on either the 20th or 21st. Let me see here. Do we have... Nope. The RCMP has not released anything.
Okay.
They have confirmed they're investigating the threats. They have some sort of safety plan. They have not corroborated the veracity of the threats, but they take them seriously enough to... do that. So the family themselves, quote, direct threats made to our family's safety by a very dangerous person. Man, they're being okay. So yeah, just a bunch of vague posting, but enough that they had to cancel the funeral. I'd like it if I had more for you. Unfortunately, it's all been just very vague, and I couldn't get a better answer than that.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks Sam Altman for making ChatGPT so affirming of people's points of view, provided they aren't, in any way traditionalist or conservative. That's it's been a real lifesaver, you could say. Ugh, horrible stuff. So, speaking of lifesavers, we've actually got something interesting out of, is it the journal? Yes, Journal of Orthomolecular Medicine. We got our first good study on ivermectin, and it's looking pretty good. So, using a protocol of ivermectin, menbendazole, and fenbendazole, they've got their first cancer study published. Let me see. They've only listed the abstract. Have they got any more? I'm not going to read all this off to everybody because there's a bunch here. So, long and short is they're running the studies, they're getting peer review, and we might actually see a very good new cancer cocktail coming out of this. There's been very good anecdotal evidence as far as what was it? I believe the lungs, pancreatic cancers, I think, and non-Hodgkin's lymphomas that this was good for. So we'll see as it progresses. Let me see if there's anything listed in the abstract here specifically. There is not. Nonetheless, this will be something that we'll be following up on because it's just...
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see some good medicine come out of some bad times. So, fingers crossed on that one. But the anecdotal evidence is good. We're seeing good peer review, which is, what you want in medicine. So, hey, fingers crossed on that one. Oh, I was wanting to give you some good news. Well, despite the fact that old Patel's over there having a grand old time with the big winners, the U.S. hockey team, he may be phoning it in, but he is phoning in some interesting and fun things. So I've got some great news for you. You guys remember that little baggie that they found in and around the Oval Office, the one with the
turning around
the Peruvian marching powder? Well, they for the time, the investigation was kaput and closed. Well,
yeah, it was closed.
Our man Cash, he wants to get to the bottom of that one, and he's reopened it.
It's funny how they can be reopened like that, isn't
it? Yeah, you can actually just do things.
Yep.
You can, in fact, just do things. And, well, seems like he's decided to do this one. I wish him the best of luck because, from what I remember, didn't they find some DNA on that or something?
They might have.
Boy, wouldn't that be interesting? And it's not been super long, so it should be still plenty fresh. So.
Oh yeah, they got. I'm sure they've got iced samples. So, last I heard on that whole thing, they had ordered certain things to be destroyed, and we did not have any information as to whether or not they were successful, but that the Secret Service, U.S. Secret Service, was attempting to preserve the evidence. So I guess they preserved the evidence.
Sounds kind of like. Oh, and well, on the opposite end of things, and just tying back into what we were talking about earlier, Canada, actually, they hit an impressive milestones. Truly the first of its time in history. As a matter of fact, they've set the benchmark, as it were. They officially, let me see here what date this was. As of the 21st, they had officially killed their 100,000th citizen under their MAID program.
Uh-huh.
They have surpassed the entirety of every school shooting in America by orders of magnitude.
Combined.
Honestly. Yeah. And just if you weren't in a dark enough place, let's revisit another story that we reported on some months ago. You'll remember the pot farm that had the illegals and the child slave labor?
Uh-huh.
Well, ABC News actually had a bit of an update on that.
Did they?
Oh, they did. The headline being an Army veteran detained in Ventura County immigration raid is suing the federal government. Now, you'll note the context that I provided beforehand. That was, in fact, the one of the guards that was forcing the illegal alien child that is being used as slave labor to do the slave labor.
Mm-hmm.
So, little things. So, there's that. So, yeah, just aiding and abetting child slavery, as you do. Got to salute him for his service or fucking whatever.
Not that service.
Well, I'm sure Gavin was pleased that he was able to
I'm sure
do
he
all
was.
that. I mean, that's right up his alley.
That sounds like a 960 SAT move.
Indeed. Indeed. And in other smart moves, we got another, same date actually, on the 21st of this month, out of the New York Times. Don't worry, I'll be providing an archive.is link for everyone. J.P. Morgan admits to debanking Trump after the January 6th Capitol tax. Well. And here I was told that no such thing would ever occur.
Oh.
How about that? How about it? So, out of reporting of the New York Times here, nation's largest bank, in report to a lawsuit filed by the president, confirmed his long-standing complaint about, quote, debanking. For years, President Trump has complained that his personal and business bank accounts were deliberately closed after the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. J.P. Morgan Chase is now admitting that it did happen. Well, thanks for telling us about that, Rob Copeland. We appreciate your timely and cutting reporting on the matter.
I don't remember anybody actually denying it at the time, though.
Well, but they wouldn't admit to it either. They basically kind of hem and hawed about it, is the long and short of things. They wouldn't say they did, they wouldn't say they didn't, but now it's clear.
I do remember. I remember there being the attempt to push an anti-debanking law, and they said, "Oh no, that doesn't happen." And Trump came out and said, "Yeah, no, that happens to me," and everybody was kind of like, "Well, yeah, but that's like a really rare occurrence or something like that."
And of course, we find out, much like the fraud in Somalia, it is not so rare. Or the Somali fraud in Minnesota, excuse me. The fraud in Somalia, oh my God, that's never...
The well is deep.
It is. Much from
some countries have oil. Other countries...
This is true.
...just want your oil. And yet further, a few countries, well, they're just happy to watch your elderly frolic in the street without any other cash anymore, dying.
Indeed. And in other unsurprising news, but now we got it on paper, Cam Higby's been out in California, and he's been doing some reporting, and like I said, the fraud's all about, and like Steve said, the well, it runs deep. But not only is there fraud out there, we've got something extra fun. 100 million... Well,
super fraud.
Even better.
California
better.
fraud.
CHIRLA is one of these quasi-terrorist organizations.
Yes.
And, well, they've gotten more than $100 million in taxpayer funds to run their bullshit operations. So they've been paying protesters. California taxpayer dollars have been going into the pocket of these rioters and these protesters. So
really,
he was just went through the transparency files on the California.gov site and found $115,104,817.11 in payments to the coalition
it's that 11 cents that really makes it such a tragedy.
Oh, yeah, well, you think they'd round. But, yeah, they do the BLM, the DACA stuff, the anti-ICE, the whole shebang.
Like, I heard we're no longer using a penny. So.
Well, and like, I know that there's a lot of people who got mad when I don't think it's a good argument for conservatives to make to say that the protesters are paid, because it's likely that some of the protesters are paid, not all of them.
Oh yeah, well you only have
and so what you're going to get
basically, but yeah,
what you're going to end up having in whenever you make those accusations is a bunch of people saying, "Hey, you're saying that our real movement is astroturfed," when in fact it's quite real, and the reality is somewhere in between. Some of it's astroturfing. Some of
the
it's
reality
paid
is that if any of it is astroturfed or paid, the funny thing is that by and large the big brand messaging of it is flagrantly so. If there is ever a chance to make it a grassroots campaign, it's completely gone. Like that as a contentious point is just so blown out by their own actions. It's never going to be something they can come back to and say, yeah, but you just disenfranchised all these people. It's like you guys did it yourself.
Speaking of being blown out by your own actions, here's just a funny little thing that we've since learned as well, related to what we've been talking about. LinkedIn does the same shit, so they're sending it to those same persona-based shit. Well, they use directly that. So if you've put your ID or any of that into their system, they've got it there too. But the funny thing is, the CEO of Persona, a guy by the name of Rick Song, you can look him up on LinkedIn, but you won't find his picture there because he's never posted it. Isn't that a...
So that's the thing, is like...
He knows. LinkedIn. It's just like all these tech guys that are like, oh yeah, no, my kids don't have cell phones.
Like, see, this is the thing about places like LinkedIn. Like, all right, so for example, I have to have my name out there. Like, published scientist, yada yada. Like, it's not really a question for me. I can't publish under a pseudonym.
Right.
So, like, I don't really have that option for anonymity when it comes to certain parts of my life. And if you're posting stuff on LinkedIn, an expectation of privacy is already kind of dubious to start with. Like, you're out there, aside from people who are post-maxing, as it were, the psychopaths of LinkedIn, most people there are looking for a job or are holding out just in case. Like, it's all open to the public, so to speak. Like, there's not really a privacy aspect of LinkedIn. So when it comes to like a hack where they're like, yeah, well, we got everyone's real name. It's like, well, yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, yeah, but so here's the thing about LinkedIn. I have never successfully gotten a job through them. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, now granted, like, I say that while I've been generally working in the same location plus or minus for the last 10 years. But I found the job that I have now, or the start of the job that I have now on career board for nuclear power for a very specific thing. And then I have the current job I had was a whole bunch of people pestering me nonstop to put in for it.
Right.
Yeah.
The previous job I had was on Indeed. And when I was unemployed in 2018 for about 6 months, I hit all the job boards, and I never saw anything manifest out of LinkedIn, not even once.
Yeah,
I got invited to conferences on LinkedIn. I get invited to conferences all the time on LinkedIn, but I've never gotten an actual job out of it.
I've never really made a reasonable job context for that matter, but
LinkedIn be pretty dry as far as opportunities go.
Really?
Kind of seems like it's just another kind of social media place to post about whatever the hell it is you're doing that's supposed to matter. Oh, man. I don't have a good segue for this.
Well,
but
it's 12:50, gentlemen.
Yeah. Understandable. It's pumpkin hour for our dear friend Craig here.
Yes, I'm gonna dip. So, you guys have a fantastic week. Look forward to more baby updates next weekend.
And hopefully, I will have some good news.
It was. I ended up putting him up with the wife. So the thing you learn very quickly is that you're not desirable. Dad is not wanted.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Especially as a newborn. Dad's not wanted.
See,
Mom is wanted. Dad is at best tolerated.
Women raise the children until 7. Dad raises the man until 18.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see
On
that.
that note,
no, he is not a fan of me. Not like not a fan. It's just he has better things to do.
Exactly.
Than to hang out with me.
So it has been said before.
Right. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, sir.
Have a good night.
So that was Craig. You can find him at CraigBob99 on all the things. He's got a link tree and all that good stuff. So speaking of good stuff, we've got another little bit of good news out of the Housing and Urban Development Department. So HUD is going to be bringing back a policy from the first Trump era of removing non-citizens from public housing because, well, they oughtn't be there. But in this case, this is going to be all non-citizens, legal and otherwise. This will be made available only to U.S. citizens, as honestly it should be. We shouldn't be supporting people that are coming here, refugee status or otherwise. Like, if you're going to come through 3 different fucking nations to get here, all of which are completely safe and reasonable, okay, you know what? If you came today, literally today, out of Mexico, all right, fine. It's not a safe nation, but that's today. Literally today. So, sorry, Charlie. But, it'll be probably a helpful addition to things so that we can free up some of these resources for people that genuinely need them. So let me see if I've got the reporting out of this here. Scott Turner declared a zero-tolerance policy to remove illegal aliens and fraudsters from taxpayer-funded units. Said they were, quote, riding on the coattails of American taxpayers, end quote. Well, I couldn't agree more. So let me see. What else this got here? It says a 2019 HUD analysis found more than 108,000 people in households with at least one undocumented, and as many as 55,000 of those were U.S. citizens or legal children who would be displaced. So, wow. The department's announcement was headlined, quote, illegals, ineligibles, and fraudsters, pack your bags, end quote. All right. It's well received from here. And also well received. Now, I don't know if you caught this, but there was a security guard at a place in France where some right-wing folks were having a rally, and he ended up getting beat to death by Antifa. Did you catch the news on that by chance?
I did not, no. So I've been trying to catch up on news this week. I'm still backlogged for most of the major stories from the last 2 weeks. But...
Understandable. Well, this is from last week. A young man by the name of Quentin Duranque, or Duranque, I'm not sure, it's French, whatever, you know. He got beaten to death by a bunch of Antifas.
Language?
Yeah. Romance language, but whatever. Anyway, he got beaten to death by a bunch of Antifas in Lyon. And a lot of people are real upset about that in France. As a matter of fact, just the other day we had, let me get the date on this. Yeah, on the 21st, a lot happened on the 21st. There was a rally in France, basically thousands of folks gathered, and they were chanting Antifa assassins about, this poor kid that was beat to death. And then the worst part of this, too, is how so much of European media has been framing this. They're saying some far-right activist was killed in a confrontation, whereas the guy was just security. Whether he was or wasn't with them isn't the point. The point is He was there just doing a job trying to keep people safe. And these fucking monsters just beat him to death. They beat him to death. Well, they didn't beat him to death. He actually died in the hospital of brain death, as a matter of fact. So they took him in. I think he survived like 3 to 6 hours, and then that was it. And he was done. Which is horrible. Also horrible, and involving Mexico, but not the cartels in this case, was a former ambassador. And boy, if this is true, it makes you wonder what else has gone through and not been touched. But anyway, former ambassador to Mexico, Earl Anthony Wayne, is implicated as having impregnated an 11-year-old and then putting the fall onto a U.S. serviceman for the act. And as a matter of fact, we reported on this before, but now we've got the actual Epstein files, and it appears that they back that statement up. And yeah, let me hop in here. Yeah, looks like, and I've got a link to at least a copy of that here. Yeah, U.S. Marine. Let me see if I've got the name of that particular Marine. I do not, but I mean, we could look it up because, it's an 11-year-old getting raped and then in Mexico and then a Marine going to jail for it. And, well, now we can just say that, much like the JFK assassination, the U.S. government is directly involved. Yeah, fucking who. Man, what else have they covered up? Because
Wait. So a Marine raped a kid?
No. Earl Anthony Wayne did. And a Marine is serving time in his stead because that was the agreement they came up with behind closed doors. Because they didn't want to implicate the U.S. ambassador to the fucking country of having done what these statements now seem to clarify as having occurred.
Well, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of is. And, well, speaking of kids getting fucked, because you got to have the funny segues, even if the topic is terrible. Out of California. You heard about the Trump accounts, right? For all children that are being born, going henceforth. Well, California, they don't conform, and I quote, California does not conform to federal tax laws for, quote, Trump accounts. California intends to tax account earnings annually when realized rather than upon withdrawal, and employer contributions are considered taxable income for the state purposes, creating significant immediate tax liabilities for California residents, meaning that they are going to be taxing the Trump dividend that is set to be given to all American children, and all monies deposited therein will be assumed to have been deposited as if by an employer. How very nice of them in California. Just
commies being commies.
Chef's kiss. It's boy, they get you both ways, man. They'll even get your kids. But that's Hollywood. But speaking of Hollywood, I saw an interesting tweet here out of account I don't really follow, just came across my timeline. And it says, they told us all along, with a crying smiley face. And features a video of various interview snippets with Brooke Shields as a young girl. And for those unaware, Brooke Shields has been in the business of Hollywood for most of her life. As a matter of fact, there is a movie that I'm fairly certain you cannot acquire now, because when she acted in it, she was well below age, and It's got the whole. Well, they were pretty wild with the nudity in the 70s, and so you know how those film auteurs are. They'll just do what they feel needs to be done. Make a cuties movie and whatever. Old Roman Polanski, he set the bar real high. I believe the bar in that case being at about 13. Oh, Hollywood, you den of monsters, you den of absolute monsters.
So what's the news now here?
Nothing particularly new. Just it's in the light of what we now can confirm as being absolutely true. These very uncomfortable questions that older men are asking a very young girl are beyond uncomfortable and rather revealing in their implications.
Which questions are those?
Let me just go to the end of this thing here.
Exquisite-looking young lady. I know you've been told that, but is she a pretty girl? A lot of people would see you as a sex kitten.
See you as a sex kitten with fucking Bob Hope saying this shit to her or something. Like, that's... And she's, 13 in this interview? And there's so many different instances. It's a minute long of the various interviews with her as a young girl, and it's just... In light of what we now know, it's very telling. There's nothing explicit, but the implications are very dark.
Well, to be fair, right? Was a different time period.
This is true. I mean, what is it? That fucking like a Whitesnake song or something about underage groupies? And what? Oingo Boingo's got another one that's Young Girls is the name of the song. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Bad Bunny did his variant, right? Like at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, true. Now that people are hearing what the lyrics actually included, they find that was perhaps not entirely appropriate for family audiences. But hey, that's Roger Goodell's choice. Good choice there,
yep.
Roger. You chose to do that. Wow.
Did indeed.
Oh man, just dark times. I'm just strolling through the news, and I don't. You know what? I've got some points I did want to hit. I don't know if we'll call them good or bad, but it's interesting. So, out of some folks that have again been going through the Epstein files, we've got some information here regarding Las Vegas. And it looks like, we were able to report on this a little bit early on in some of the file dumps, but from what we've got here, it would appear that into that, Epstein was working with Mohammed bin Salman on some purchases and passport issues. So, very, very interesting there. So I'm going to throw a link up to a thread on that. It's kind of a lot more depth and detail than I'd really want to go into, but it gets a little bit of a rabbit hole. But we now know that there is an actual connection between Epstein, bin Salman, and Las Vegas. Now, how deep that goes beyond the Epstein files we've got here, can't really say. Basically, all we've got is they were going to meet up. This thing was going to happen. And then, of course, everything gets weird, involving the Waldorf Astoria and, everything. So, the last bit we've got on this here is an email from Jeffrey Epstein. Interesting, from Jeffrey Epstein to himself. So, a note, I guess. with the subject of alert-MBS ? September 19th, 2017. And then this will be the message. September 19th, 2017, 9 a.m. This looks like it was copied from a text message. It's the format. Anyway, it's got the date, AM, then a semicolon, MBS ? Conversation ID 30980, date last viewed 0, date received 1505827, 463 flags. Oh my God, I'm not going to read all that, but whatever. He's copied himself this on some specific interaction with Ben Salman. So I'd like to be able to give you more, but there is a connection and there is something there. There is a there. And that's kind of all I got for you. But I'm going to keep on this because nobody is giving us any answers about that Las Vegas shooting. And by God, we need them. Just, and wish I had more, but, I kind of don't. But at least we got something. But I do, however, have this one for you. And so everybody's going to remember old Uncle Ted and all the friendly packages he was sending out to all the elites of the thinkery class and whatever, because, the results of the modern world are not great, to paraphrase his manifesto. So, interestingly here, there's a fellow by the name of David Galertner that was the recipient of one of these care packages from old Uncle Ted. And, well, he got. He got. So in 93, after he had taken a bit of a break from sending those out, Kaczynski sent a mail bomb to Charles Epstein, who, no specific relation, but if you want to look through the emails, there is, unsurprisingly. But also, in that same weekend, he sent another package to one David Galertner, who, if you feel like looking through the files, can be found as well in there, which caused him to lose an eye, hearing in an ear, and a portion of his right hand. But out of Forbes, Yale computer scientist David Galertner is defending almost 6 years of email correspondences with Jeffrey Epstein, including a recommendation for a student he described as a, quote, completely connected, small, good-looking blonde, end quote, reportedly saying that he was only trying to, quote, keep the potential boss's habits in mind, end quote. Epstein Galertner reportedly wrote in an email sent Wednesday to the dean of Yale's School of Engineering and Applied Science, would have asked for, quote, a lot more aesthetic detail, end quote, if he had not already included about the student's appearance. He added, quote, as long as I said nothing that dishonored her in any conceivable way, I'd have told him more or less what he wanted. She was smart, charming, and gorgeous. Ought I have suppressed that info? Never, end quote. I'll include the link to Forbes here as well. But yeah, old Uncle Ted was sending out some presents to Epstein's friends. Funny enough. His friends and associates. What a small world it is. What a very, very small world. And speaking of small worlds and things that we reported on before, we've also got, via those very same Epstein documents, confirmation that the NYPD, and I shall read directly from the statement here. Chief Medical Examiner, OCME, arrived to transport Epstein to their facility due to the large news media presence outside the MCC. You're going to remember us reporting on that. That's the Manhattan Correctional Facility, wherein all the things went down that night, and they got so tired they just had to take a nap, and then he managed to hang himself in with a paper napkin in a 6-foot-tall room while nobody was watching. Anyway, and I quote, reading directly from the report with an interview of one of the individuals on the scene. Due to the large news media present outside the MCC, a male OCME official called and said he would be arriving at the loading dock with a black vehicle in order to thwart the media. Redacted used boxes and sheets to create what appeared to be a human body, which was put into the white OCME vehicle, which the press followed, allowing the black vehicle to depart unnoticed with Epstein's body. I will remind everyone that there was rather a controversy over the pictures of the body that was put into that white OCME vehicle and the differences between the nasal bridge and the ears, as well as the forehead and hairline of the individual that was pictured on that bed. Not, you'll note, boxes and sheets, as listed in this report of an individual who worked there on the scene. So that raises a number of very peculiar questions that I don't have answers to. And yet again.
So that would be I haven't gotten to that relationship of people claiming that there's yet more evidence that Epstein may still be alive. That must be.
It could be.
Such evidence.
Could have. We don't have an answer, but we certainly now have significantly more questions.
So I'm gonna harken back.
Although I have an
South
update
Park
for you on that, but go right ahead.
So I'm gonna harken back to South Park. A few months ago, they did this whole thing where they mocked Trump, and it was just kind of a rehash of the whole Saddam Hussein bit from, 2 decades prior, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would have been far better, on like the Epstein files and all this other stuff. It would have been far better if they decided to, if they wanted to mock Trump, have Trump have like this quandary about the Epstein files and have him go all the way down to the White House basement.
Oh yeah,
and down to the bowling alley, and there's Epstein there, and they have to go bowl for a game.
Okay, yeah.
That would have been way funnier.
Okay, that's possible, yeah.
That would have been way funnier, and then all this coming out, it would have been like, he's right there. He's in the bucket basement. That would have been way better.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because Mr. Gunzinger himself has been going through those files and has found also something very interesting therein. Out of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Resources Office of the Inspector General, 700 East Zag Street, Suite 215, Tampa, Florida, dated Tuesday, July 6th, 2021, 1:21 p.m., from redacted to redacted, CC redacted, subject, Epstein, hi redacted. Hope you and your fam had a great 4th. I know you've got a lot going on this weekend, but I spoke with Redacted, and he's had no problem with our team debriefing Epstein, regarding the Schatz et al. Do you have the council's contact, and would you be able to dial into a debrief, any time this week? Our team can handle the report and make sure you get a copy. That's very peculiar. I don't have anything else to add to it, unfortunately, other than that the date is most interesting if he is to have died on that night of 2019. So yeah, what does that mean? I'd like to have another answer for you. Just don't. But there we are. Now, out of Reuters, and they bring up a very, very good point, that none of this happens in a vacuum. And, of course, it doesn't. So, just reading off here their headline, and I'll throw a link to the tweet and related article. Millions of files related to Jeffrey Epstein suggest the existence of a global criminal enterprise that carried acts meeting the legal threshold of crimes against humanity, a panel of independent experts appointed by the UN Human Rights Council says, and they are not wrong. Because, again, this didn't happen in a vacuum. How did Epstein get where he was? Well, through Ghislaine, to some degree, and her father, Robert Maxwell, which I will remind everyone, Robert Maxwell was directly responsible for most of the American education past the middle 90s. Generally all school books, not all, most, but most school books were written and released by McGraw-Hill, an organization directly founded and influenced by Maxwell and his ideals. So, what more can I tell you? I can't. Just that that's what happened. If you want to dig, there might be something there, but you're not going to find a whole lot when you dig into an ex-Mossad guy that even Mossad tells you wasn't Mossad. So, here we are. Here we are. Now, there's one more fun thing that I'd like to talk about, because we've talked about how Disney Cruise Lines had that interesting stop years back at Little St. James. Well, it looks like that's not the only connection, which, I mean, obviously, there's going to have to be a rather significant intermingling if Disney Cruise Lines are stopping at Little St. James. But, well, we've got something else. There's a thing by the name of Club 33, and that was a Disney thing. Well, it's come up in the emails as well, and it would appear that in 2013, Jeffrey Epstein had special access to, at least, and by means of, this Disney Club 33. What more can I tell you? Unfortunately, not much. That's about it. But I will throw a link here to a little thread on the matter so that you can peruse at your leisure. But, man, it looks like Disney has been up to some shenanigans for some while now. So what were you saying there, brother?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm listening with awe and intent.
It's
again, like I'm really
something,
far behind
isn't it?
on the news.
It's really quite something.
I think the thing with the Epstein stuff, I don't think we're gonna find a smoking gun.
Well, you weren't here. Actually, he did just go out and flat out say it. He himself. He
did come out and say what?
Okay, well, let me just read from the email here. I'll read it off again for the folks that are sticking around. From JEE Vacation at gmail.com to Masha Darkova. Your friend Aleza told me about this project she's doing, researching a really bad guy that gets...
Oh, yeah, no, I was here for that.
Yeah.
I was here for that. But, like, again, that's not, that's him saying, yep, I've got these predilections, right?
Yeah.
Not what we really want, right?
Yeah,
what we really want
on Tuesday,
is
the
we
3rd
want
of
there
September,
to be...
2001. Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd
we
be nice,
we want names. We want the pedophile ring captured. And like, I just don't... I haven't seen anything for all of the files that have been released, and there's a lot of good files out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that shows that Jeffrey Epstein was a sleazy dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we knew that. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot of stuff showing anything other than that, right?
Well, we don't know what pizza is. We don't know what grape soda is. We don't know what jerky is. We don't know what ice cream is, because they're used in context of none of those things. But what are they? I don't know. Again, we can only tell you so much.
I mean, so I think there was, if I remember correctly, so the jerky thing was a little bit more well explained. Like, it's a weird series.
Oh, yeah. The jerky one is very, very peculiar. It's right up there with pizza.
It's weird. It's weird. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's, but somebody sat there and went in and did the background research. I remember seeing this a couple weeks ago before I went into kind of isolation here with baby stuff. And it turns out there was this restaurant back in New York City that used to make, I think it's biltong jerky, and like Jeffrey Epstein basically lived on the shit, right? And so like I have a sneaking suspicion
That biltong tastes like long pig?
What's that?
That biltong tastes like long pig?
No, I don't think that.
I'm kind of thinking that.
I'm sure you are. No, I think what ended up when you read into it, he got like super obsessed with this place's biltong to the point where like for a period of time he just basically did nothing but eat it, and so that was the only thing that he
friends.
ate. Right,
because they were trading it around
he would
each other,
share it with his friends,
walking it over to their apartments and what have you.
Yeah,
escorting it over as you do with jerky.
I understand, but like if we steal it,
I get what you're doing. And you're being an engineer, and that's what you do, and that's reasonable. And that's also why this show is what it is, and not just another Alex Jones enterprise. Bless him, love his heart. Turned out that he's basically right on everything, but we do like to have balance here.
The only man who has been fined $1 billion.
Right? Man,
or several $1 billion.
If something comes out with Epstein, okay.
Dude, if there came something out in the Epstein files about there being crisis actors,
yeah.
Like completely, like it would be completely out of the blue. It'd be really fucking weird. But like, yeah, that would be beautiful.
Okay. EpsteinVisualizer.com. Let's get started. Hop on over here. Let me pop that over into the thing so folks can watch along at home. Which, if not, you can just play along at home. Man, they have really got this thing together. If you haven't checked it out, actually, let me just drop a link for you in the staff chat because it's a really interesting way to get kind of into these things. So it's got the whole central access of everything. So let's do a search for Sandy Hook. Have we got anything? Interesting. Okay. Well, nothing on that. All right. That's probably a good thing. Let's do another quick search here. Alex Jones.
That would be even funnier if it was like it turns out that there was this whole thing to bring Alex Jones to Epstein Island, and he went over there, and that's what broke him down, broke him as a human being.
Boy, but well, little is surprising these days. So let's see what we got here. Searching for Alex Jones. Says there's okay. Well, that's not really. I guess there's not much there on Alex Jones, huh? Says there's a few connections, but it doesn't have anything directly relating back to Epstein. So that's cool. Good for him. Let me see if we can find. There was somebody that did that downloaded all of those and put them onto a .ai. Is that the Epstein exposed files? No. Somebody put it on a .ai. Well, let's take a look. EpsteinExposed.com. Has that got it? Okay, so we're looking for... Let's see what this one's got on Alex Jones. Is this one? Yeah. Okay, well, there's nothing really there. So, good on you, Alex. Let's hop over to the documents and see if we can find anything on Sandy Hook. And nothing. Okay. Well, that would have been quite the thing. Yeah, the only things here basically where Alex Jones has threatened people related to it or special counsels or whatever. Unsurprising, so. Anyway, we do know. And as old Duke said, knowing is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, was there anything else I was wanting? Okay, I got all the stuff I was wanting to hit out on specifically. All right. Let's see. There's something else here. Oh yeah, China's destroying the fucking Galapagos Islands because they've got another one of their seabed destruction fleets out there sucking up all the life. And might I remind that the Galapagos Islands is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But yeah, they're circling it with their fucking death fleet, as they do. And we should probably send some folks over there to tell them not to do that in a very forceful fashion.
Well, aren't they? That's just their fishing fleet, right?
Yeah, the giant one that you can actually see from space. That one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely decimating.
Like, again, we really do need to take more rigorous action on China, and I give Trump a lot of credit for essentially attempting to box them in. You know, I heard earlier like a couple weeks ago, it looks like Cuba's about to fall.
They are not doing well.
Yeah, Cuba's about to fall. Venezuela has fallen. Iran may be about to collapse. I think there was some follow-on also with some of these other regimes that are propped up by China. So I give him credit on kind of like slowly but surely crushing that axis.
Well, for what it's worth, it appears that Iran has stabilized itself. For whichever side you fall on that, it would appear that Khomeini has managed to basically put down the rebellion. Which,
well, I mean, he killed enough people.
Yep. You know, that's how it goes. You send a message and message received, you know.
Yep.
Like
right, wrong, or indifferent.
You know, right. Well, it ties right back to Barrister Starmer. You know, when you're presented with the option to do something, you can just do things. Like not prosecute Jimmy Savile. And to that, I just remind everyone, when people tell you who they are, you should listen.
Yeah.
They'll, like we were talking before, you know, or like you were talking about Bannon, you know. Talk all the shit you want, and maybe there is something to him being a bad guy. Wouldn't be surprised. He's a bit of a shifty dude. But either way, he did get the interview with Epstein.
Oh.
He did get some stuff out of Epstein. And, you know, when people tell you who they are, listen. Now,
yep.
Semi-related, when people use AI to tell you who they are, maybe do a little bit of homework. So Xbox nepotismized a fellow ethnic into the lead there out of the Microsoft AI division into Xbox. So we'll see how Xbox fares with its new lead. Not much to tell you other than things look very, very AI driven. She's been playing video games since about January 14th and has racked up many hundreds of hours of gameplay in that time, and some of the rarest and most difficult to achieve accomplishments in same-set games. But hey, she's a gamer, and that's what gamers do, right? They play the hard games and beat them. Cough.
Yeah. Unless you're Elon Musk, in which case you have other people play the hard games for you, but then you claim credit for it.
So what you're saying is, if you're the head of a company that claims to be a gamer, you might potentially have someone else acquire same said achievements. Just in general, perhaps it could happen. It has happened the one time, but surely something that happened one time might not ever happen another, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the other thing, Trump said he's sent out the order to do a little bit of bread and circuses, a.k.a. Department of Defense, Department of War, excuse me, declassify any and all alien and or UFO goodies. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
We will see what happens there.
I saw that and I was like, oh, obviously bad news day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those. It is one of those.
Like that was pretty much the telltale when Biden kid there was in trouble.
Hey, aliens. And in other fun news, we did some reporting on numerous Canadian churches that got burned down in seeming retaliation for that mass grave that, well, turned out to not be a mass grave. It actually turned out to be a bunch of Canadians that were buried in a place and just poorly documented and not, quote, First Nations peoples. Well, something interesting happened. The BC First Nation...
They really were First Nations people.
Well, even funnier than that, on the 19th of February this month, we found out that the BC First Nations gave a confirmation that it, in fact, never tried to recover any of the alleged 215 residential school graves, despite claiming $12 million in federal funding for the exhumation thereof. They didn't even try. So they lied, took $12 million, and said, fuck it. What, I tell you, those Canadians, they are really, really taking after their newest Indian immigrants. They are adopting their ways and, I guess, assimilating to India. I guess. Well, what do you say? What do you say?
Well, I think that when somebody sits there and creates money for a stupid reason, it would be dumb of you to not take that money.
Well, yeah, they were cashing in, and they were.
I mean, again, I sat there and I linked you guys to that woman who, like, crazy. This chick wrote this crazy story. She's like, "Oh, I got raped." Like, okay, why didn't you report it? And she said, "Well, they told me I was just really into BDSM." And what was it? So regretted having the sex. And I'm like, okay, well that's interesting. Why didn't you just go to have the code R kit? Oh, they wouldn't run it. So neither the hospital nor the police would run this kit on the girl. And then she turned around and said, well, it's because they thought I was attempting to make an old priest look bad. I'm like, all right, now I'm starting to get a little bit suspicious, right? Old priest rapes somebody who rapes an adult, right? Wounds are given. I think that this is a little bit suspicious, and then she chimed in that she was a minor. I'm like, yep. So everybody agrees that you were a minor who was into BDSM with an older priest, and some woman said, oh, that's a terrible thing that happened to you. What's your donation page? Like, I can't blame the chick for sitting there and linking it, but, like, we can look at all the people who are really retarded who sit there and will give money to those kinds of things.
Yeah, well, fool and his money, as they say. Soon parted.
Yeah.
And in an interesting update, I'm not sure exactly where this places us on the timeline of completion, but the Commission of Fine Arts has given approval as of the 19th of February for the completion of the ballroom on the former site of the, was it West Wing? Or East Wing? Well, the ballroom that's
probably.
the ballroom that's being put up in the East Wing. I'm sure it's the. Oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Hold on. The East Wing or West Wing? East Wing. Okay, I thought so. Yeah. Okay. So, yep, it is now approved. Let me see here. Oh, Guardian has. Goodness, that is an impressive facility. Well, I'll throw a link to the Guardian because they've got a set of very current renderings as of last week, and it's going to suit the style of the White House quite nicely. So that's good. And that said, it will look very, very fetching on the National Mall. I would say. Anywho. That's, an update that's maybe good. I guess that means the design phase of everything is complete and that, I guess they just can begin the construction proper at this point. I'll be keeping you updated on that as we go. But in another good and or interesting bit of news, out of Florida, the House passed a bill that will be abolishing all non-school property taxes, which, yes, that does mean they're going to be finding ways to come up with school levies left and right, but that's the only avenue they're going to have. But that said, that's going up, and DeSantis has been crystal clear on his desire to get rid of personal property and income taxes, so that hits his desk, you can be pretty well assured that it's going to get signed. So that's another plus for Florida out of there. And, I guess in a minus for the world, Mitch McConnell, when in a moment of clarity enough to speak words, has said that he is a no on the SAVE Act. But, nobody's surprised that Turtle Mitch hates America and Americans, so it is what it is. But another, moving on past annoying old men to other annoying old men, but this one's a little bit more funny. Tom Hanks was doing some traveling recently, and he often likes to travel to Greece. Owns an island off the coast, as a matter of fact. But he recently had a bit of an issue in trying to travel there. You see, his prevalence in those documents, we were just talking about those Epstein documents, has rather cost him, and, well, I'll just quote from Foreign Minister Justaki Baranopoulos. Or, excuse me, Baranopoulos. Said it right. Nice. Anyway, Mr. Hanks had Greek citizenship, but it was revoked when he appeared in the Epstein files. So he may still go to his island, which is considered in international waters. Oh, wait. Tom Hanks has an island in international waters. Well, we'll say nothing more of that. But he is welcome to go there, but he is no longer welcome in Greece. So, no. Damn it. All right. Well, all right. Tell me what the deal is, Snopes. It is listed as satire. So let's just go down to the bottom because that'll tell us if it is actually true but not true. Damn it. Nothing to it. Well, shnikes, I hate to report on something untrue, but hey, it is not breaking, and it is unfortunately not true. Damn it, that would have been really fucking funny. Well, thanks for correcting the record and actually correcting it, Snopes. Broken clocks are, in fact, right twice a day. So, you won't hear the fake news out of us if I can avoid it. Damn it. Man, that would have been really fucking funny, too. Oh, well. Well, let's get our spirits up with some good news. Out of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, California's law was blocked at that level with their new law that was meant to demask ICE. So, no, Gavin, you can't. Long and short, even your local circuit court says no. At the federal circuit court level, and, well, he doesn't really have the chops to take it much higher than that. If they've already said that, then that's kind of it. Now, in some other good news that I think we reported on this last week or the week before, the somebody that holds one of the original forced reset or any of the other number of titles that's been given, assisted reset, whatever you want to call it, these triggers that are able to reset themselves very quickly and with great ease that are now showing up for numerous firearms. Just a quick reminder, who is that company? Well, whoever it is that owns the current patent, they made an agreement with the ATF that they would vigorously defend said patent. Man, I hate it that I can't. Rare breed triggers. There we go. That Rare Breed would vigorously defend in court any and all patent infringements as part of their deal to be allowed to sell their FRT by way of the ATF agreement. And they have overstepped their bounds. I've mentioned the Hoffman Tactical suit, which alleges that in some way the super safety, which does allow similar function as an FRT, but is in fact not, because it is a safety mechanism that just happens to interact with the trigger mechanism. Whatever. The legal complications are quite silly. But the long and short is the circuit court agreed on every single count with the temporary injunction against Rare Breed and their challenger. So there is a competitor on the market that you can today acquire. As a matter of fact, it is the Partisan Disruptor Forced Reset trigger, and you can find them on Optics Planet right now. They've got them, let me just double check if they still got them on sale. They do indeed. Got them for $279.99. That's a good deal for a forced reset trigger. So if you're not aware, long and short here, forced reset trigger does much the same thing as the Franklin Arms binary trigger, but in a much shorter range, and not merely on the binary. It actually does only on the one, but the reset is in fact so short, I believe about 1/4 millimeter, that consistent pressure upon said trigger will allow you to pull it basically just by applying consistent pressure. So you'll be pulling the trigger basically as quickly as it can cycle. And you will be pulling the trigger one time per activation. That activation less than 1 millimeter, but an activation nonetheless, and decided by the ATF as perfectly legal and reasonable. So I would encourage you to check out an FRT if you have interest in a fast-firing AR or any number of other fun things, because they're showing up for all sorts of fun guns. And everybody knows a fun switch is fun. So go out there and have some fun. Now, let me think here. Was there anything else? Any big name issues I was wanting to hit, or any good news? Oh, if you've been following it, but how could you not? Punch the Monkey has made a friend. Aww.
Who is Punch the Monkey?
Punch is a little monkey at a Japanese zoo that has been carrying around an orangutan plushie because the other monkeys refuse to be friends with him. And so it's been this online kind of thing. And so 10 years ago, there was another simian that set the vibe for the coming decade. And that was a dark vibe indeed. Rest in peace, Saint Harambe. It appears that Punch is setting the vibe for the coming decade, and that is a vibe of hope that maybe we're going to make it. even if it's a little rough. We're going to find some friends and we're going to make it through.
Mm.
And I like that vibe. That's a good vibe. I can deal with that. Well, let me think. Was there anything else I was wanting to hit out here? I guess, quick note, there's been a lot of talk about how the FDA is backtracking on the artificial color ban. And in some aspects, it has been opened a bit to some borderline natural dyes. But it has also been opened up to natural dyes that would otherwise have been banned by that. So it's kind of a 3 steps forward, 1 step back deal. So yeah, there's a little bit of a screw up in it, but they're also making room for the natural dyes that the companies would need, like your carrots, your beets, your blueberries, grapes, natural dyes, and also semi-questionable natural dyes as well. So it'll need to come to the attention of old Robert, and I hope that he does act on that. But it's not as doomsaid as many have put out there. So yeah. Let me think here. I'm pretty much. Oh yeah. Restore Britain. Restore is doing.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
They are doing very, very,
dude.
Very
that
well.
Guy went hard in his fucking.
And he continues
his opening bid there.
And he has not backed down, not a lick. Rupert Lowe is the man for Britain, and they're doing everything they can to make sure there's not a Britain left in 3 years for him to save. It's like they are just diving headlong into the abyss, my brother. It's scary days over there, Like, they'll jail you for 3 years for saying something, and let a family of 12 that all gang raped some young girl out in 3 months.
Although there was that interesting video where the British cop had to explain to a bunch of Muslim men that they can't just arrest people for saying things they don't like.
Offending the prophet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. And in a surprising bit of anti-dystopian news, Whole Foods is ditching their palm. Oh yeah, no problem. Whole Foods is ditching their palm scanner, so in fact, you can actually just say no. I don't want to buy into your beast system, and if you don't, well, there's kind of not a lot they can do about it. Not yet. So, while you still got the chance, just say no. You, again, you can just do things. You can say no to the mark on the forehead, or the left hand, or the right hand, or any of those things. Also, hope you're eating butter, because now the science is in, and it's clear. We should never have stopped, and we should never have listened to the corporate activists that told us that margarine and any number of other seed oil-based semi and demi foods are healthy and or foods. So yeah, do be sure you're getting adequate real fats. Now, is there? We got Asha Sharma. That's the new Xbox head, the previous AI exec with literally no background. I'm trying to think here. Oh yeah. Grok's actually Grokopedia has started to outperform Wikipedia, which is hilarious and interesting, and as a matter of fact, notably more honest. Now it's not perfect, but yeah, nothing really is. But hey, it's looking good. All right, now, I feel like we've hit everything we want to hear here, or everything that I was needing to add some detail to. Let me just double check all my backlogged stuff here. Oh yeah, I have got another little good bit of news. Oh, but man, I've got to sneeze. Oh, that's the worst. Oh, there we go. A nose jiggle saved me. So, out of Poland, we've got a bit of news here. They're going to be working on creating a non-governmental organization that'll be working with at least the Polish government on the Stop Killing Games initiative. If you're not familiar, basically this aims to make it so that there is some requirement in place that any game be playable for its life if a person is paid for it, whether that be that servers are maintained or just that an endpoint gamer might be able to create their own server, a la the vanilla WoW servers that were maintained for quite some while. You know, that be made available to a person, and realistically, it's just reasonable business. So Poland is supporting that. The European Union and U.S. have got NGOs related. We've got some big-name European Union lawyers that are on board. And there will be a hearing at the European Union Parliament in the coming days, probably, I believe, over the coming week. So, hey, that's some more potentially very promising news. Is after all, Stop Killing Games initiative. It's a good thing at the end of the day that we preserve our artistic heritage, whatever medium it be found in, because everything came from somewhere, and if we can't kind of track that, then what's the timeline? So much of our current world is digital. I mean, we've got to figure out a way to keep that going. Places like the Internet Archive.
All right, my man.
Hey, I just talking about how we've got to preserve our digital heritage and how there's actually been some progress on that.
I mean, before we get to the digital stuff, we need to preserve our meat space heritage.
That we do. But to see anything done is a good thing.
True.
So, right before you left, just to get your comments on it, I was talking about Whole Foods. They're shutting down their palm scanners because nobody was doing it.
Shut down a what?
They were using a palm scan payment system where, this what people have often referred to as the beast system. But scan your palm and do the thing. Basically, nobody was interested. So it's going away. And my comments on the issue at the time, and I am genuinely curious to your thoughts on that, is when you see these dystopian things in places where you have the option to say no, you can just say no, and they will learn that people aren't interested.
Well, my take is a little bit different, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm genuinely curious to have your thoughts on this.
I actually don't necessarily have an issue with universal biometrics for a lot of different reasons, right?
Well, your social credit rating is going to be high as hell, so what do you got to worry about, right?
Not. Oh yeah, well that's true, but more along the lines of I think that social credit stuff is easy to balance out. But if you turn around and you had biometrics and they were nationally logged, then that really kind of cuts down on identity theft, right? And when we start talking about things like ICE raids, illegal immigration, those kinds of things, those people, a lot of them end up existing through the use of
stolen social security numbers directly.
Identity theft, right?
Absolutely.
And so the social security system, I think that I understand what there's a lot of there's good and bad to it, right? You go before the social security system came about, you didn't need anything, and there's good to that and there's bad to that.
True.
realistically, without any system whatsoever, any background check, any identity theft system, if we were to eliminate social programs and go back to that pre-America phase, the illegal immigration thing would be irrelevant, right? Because there is no theft. It's just who's going to work for what wages, when, where, right? In the time since then, you as a person, we've built around a value system around who you are, and not just identity politics, but just the identity verification system in general. And switching to biometrics is the next evolution of that system.
I mean,
Now,
realistically, although not my bag.
it really is. Like it would eliminate a lot of fraud.
Well, certainly can.
You know, if you had to do something like palm scans every single time you sat there, when somebody had to go sit there and apply for a credit card, if they needed a palm scan, would that be better or worse for the people facing identity theft? And the answer is better, right? They can steal your digital information. They can't replicate your biometrics. And so
Well,
I
you
actually
say
don't
that.
think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Well, you say that, but then
Oh, it's true.
You know, you develop a new product, you develop a better thief.
But I imagine that there's a lot of different biometric systems, and I'm sure we can find one or two of them that are not necessarily idiot proof, right? But takes it away from the point where idiots can be the ones gaming the system. You know, realistically, if you got
real talk, the
thieves,
only way to
for
do
the most
something like
part, are
this
idiots.
is there would have to be actual, like, hard and fast rules and punishments for infractions against, you know, people's IDs and everything, specifically on the back end side, like this data has to be deleted after whatever, you know, you have to honor a person's request to privacy, et cetera, you know, that.
But I mean, like, privacy concerns, whether you're using digital data, whether you're using 2FA, or whether you're using biometrics, like, those kinds of improvements in privacy can be made independent of the means of validating you are you, right? Those are two very, very different things. How we handle privacy and encryption and that aspect of the transaction, and how we implement a social system around it, because whether or not we turn around, you want to turn around and say social credit system, right now we could implement a social credit system. We don't need biometrics for that, right? We could just turn around and tap into your social security number. Your social security number is attached to your credit cards. It's attached to your banking information. If they wanted to do social credit, they could do that right there, right now. Biometrics doesn't change that at all in any way, shape, or form. It has zero bearing on that. Now, if you want to say, hey, we should, before we utilize biometrics, implement these privacy concerns and privacy measures, I agree with you. But I would also say that those privacy concerns and privacy measures should probably be implemented for current digital data and the numerical sequences that define all of us and all of our transactions on a day-to-day basis.
I would not mind seeing greater protections. That's a fact.
Right? Like, I don't see what's different. That's, I guess, where I'm putting it.
Yeah, well, I don't have to agree, but I can appreciate your point of view.
Fair enough.
So, in some other fun news relating directly to our streaming home, out of Odyssey team, they're adding a cool feature and a reason for you to basically never go back to YouTube. So they're going to be doing some pass-through stuff. You're going to be able to watch YouTube videos on Odyssey. So if you don't like the way things are being run over there, hop over here to our friends at Odyssey. Can't wait to see now that some of the debanking and bullshit measures have been resolved. We might actually see some real good development here too as well. So if you're not, get on Odyssey. Great place. Now let me think. What do we got here? Anything else I needed to hit real big? Oh yeah. Yeah. This is just a fascinating kind of note. But there's a company in Japan that is one of the most important in the world by the name of Toto. And they make bidet toilets. Yeah. But there's an investor out of a capital group, Palliser Capital, sent a letter to them and stated that it was, quote, the most undervalued and overlooked AI memory beneficiary. Per FT, Toto's Chuck Technologies uses ceramics designed to remain stable at very low temperatures, helping hold silicon wafers firmly during chip production. And they're about one of the only people to be able to do that right now. And Palliser believes that Toto has at least 5 years on anyone else developing a comparable technology. So they could get real big. Now, here at the Fake Untitled Podcast, we are not investors or investment bankers and cannot advise you on what investments to make. But Toto Limited, probably going to be a strong investment going forward.
Huh.
But another wild one is a company by the name of Ajinomoto. They make MSG. Yeah, who cares, right? Their amino acid research has produced the insulating substrate that is in almost every single high-end GPU. They have a 95% monopoly across the globe. When we talked about the chip shortage in 2021, yes, if you were listening, it was because of that film that Ajinomoto makes. So there are some very interesting companies out there worth your time that are, what would you say? Not in the dark, but not in the light by any means. So I'll throw a link to kind of a little thread on that for anybody near the end here that's interested. And again, not investors. This is not advice, but looks good. And I think that was all the stuff I was wanting to hit here. Yeah, pretty much. Let me hop on over here. Out of Florida, they're wanting to restore the 2A rights of nonviolent felons. Okay. Yeah, that is fair. That's probably how it ought to be. The AG's putting together... what was this? On study reflection, Attorney General has concluded the conviction does indeed infringe Morgan's rights. This is in relation to Christopher Morgan, convicted in Pennsylvania in 2007 for carrying a firearm without a state license. Okay. That's a pretty good reason to restore his rights if that's all you were doing. So, yeah. They have told the court that it was wrong to convict the man and that statements therefore confess error and urge the court to reverse. Okay. That's pretty cool. Quoting from the court here, because no other appellate court has considered the constitutionality of Florida's open carry ban since the SCOTUS decision in Bruin. The first DCA's decision is binding on all Florida trials courts, meaning that as of last week, open carry is now the law in the state. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty neat, actually.
Well, there you go.
That's not bad. Oh, and just some other semi-related news. Brandon Herrera is polling at 33% in front of Tony Gonzalez in Texas. So, Godspeed, Brandon. Texas deserves a man like you.
I'm not familiar with his platform.
Just a super pro 2A guy. You're familiar with the Libertarian Party in New Hampshire, right? How they're actually the cool libertarians?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of guy. But also super pro 2A. And very much if you're in the files, you need to be investigated and jailed and possibly wood chippered. And
Okay.
also, big YouTube guy. He does great videos. Does reactions to funny memes. He's also the guy building the AK-50. It's a real interesting character. Personable dude. Has some down to earth. An actual human being. Somebody that's kind of taken up the mantle. He's not a Rupert Lowe, but he's that kind of guy. You know, a guy that's like, look, no. It's gone too far. I can't allow this. This is too much. And to be fair, the guy he's going up against had an affair with a girl that decided to kill herself by burning herself alive in her car. And there's some big deal suspicion around that. As you might imagine, most people don't burn themselves alive as a suicide method. So, you know. So I would I'd definitely like to see Tony Gonzalez shut out and Brandon Herrera get in there because Texas deserves better representation than that. Yeah, I don't have any other good news. I got some, just a real quick out of Newsbusters. Let me see here. So, since Newsbusters been tracking late night comedy guests count since September 2022, cumulative total stands at 604 liberals and Democrats, and at 15 conservatives and Republicans, based on Seth Meyers, Trevor Noah, James Gordon, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Daily Show, and Jimmy Fallon, through all of them. And that is just, by the way, in the period of December 8th, 2022 to April 27th of 2023. So, unsurprising.
No, we all kind of knew that, though.
Yeah, no, nobody's surprised. Now, is there, I do have one more good story for the night, by golly. I do indeed. Let me hop over to that.
I do love that CBS basically threw Colbert under the bus. That was good times.
Well, he deserves it.
He does, but it's good for them to basically come out and say, no, he's actually fucking lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
It would have been even better if they'd said, and if you think this is a lie, why do you think he's getting fired?
Mm-hmm. Fair point on that one. Now, there was another one I had here out of Japan. What is it? They're doing something damn decent. Oh, that's right. They put a bounty, I think it was 50,000 yen, on any deportable immigrant that is reported by a Japanese citizen. I'm trying to find the initial reporting here, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty with that. But I believe it was 50,000 yen. I could be a little off on that, but out of the new government, yep, that's how it's going. And by golly, I approve. Why can't we have what they have? Because I would, I'd be happy to do my part. I would, you know?
Well, I mean, how much is 50,000 yen in dollars?
I think about 5,000.
Okay, that's pretty decent, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know,
obviously the challenge that you have is that how do you do something like that? In the case of Japan, Japan's pretty easy because Japan's an island nation, right? There's not a lot of people.
They just got a fairly unified government in as well.
Right. They're not exactly like, how do you put it? It's a homogenous culture. It would be a lot harder in the United States to pull that off. You'd have probably more false reports than anything else. Now, that being said, what I would do is I would turn around and say that I would go out specifically to the illegal immigrant community, and I would say, look, we're going to deport everybody we catch, right? But if you report somebody who's illegal and they happen to be illegal, then you get essentially a 1 in 10 chance of being allowed to stay. Right? Only applicable if you don't commit crimes. I would be very okay with that, right? You get like permanent residency handed off to you, not just for reporting in your 1 in 10. So we get to deport 10 for every one that is reported or stays, or 10 get reported and deported for every one that stays. I'd be okay with that.
I'd like them all to go, but, you know, I can appreciate your pragmatism.
All or nothing is a great thing if it's achievable. I'm not sure all is achievable.
Well,
and I
we have
certainly
seen in
don't
other
think all is
countries that it
achievable.
is, actually.
What's that?
Well, maybe not all, but a very, very significant portion. I mean, we have seen that it can be done. It's just, are you willing to do the hard work? And speaking of hard work, I've got a cool thing for you. Somebody actually finished up. This would be Walter Kurt. He's made a fun thing. It's a Medicaid intelligence map that goes over all 50 states and most of the billing codes, so you can look and see where the highest levels of Medicaid activity are occurring. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Just a fun tool. And well, by golly, that's basically all I had. Was there anything, any other points you wanted to hit tonight before we call it?
No, I'm pretty much good.
All righty then.
As it goes, like I said, I'm out of the news cycle for the most part.
Fair enough.
Got bigger and better fish to fry right now.
Absolutely.
So, you know, Daddy is not as well loved as Mommy.
I understand that is not uncommon.
The struggle is real.
It is. But, you know,
we've at least moved away from
just keep
screaming when we're
recommending Dada. Because, you know, if you can get those first words, you know you're going to be smug.
True.
You know you'll be the smuggest son of a bitch ever.
Oh, I've got a whole... oh, my God, I found it. I've been cleaning my desk this whole time. And my buddy, he turned around and years and years and years ago, back in like 2017, he got me a Star Wars Bop It R2-D2.
You don't say.
And I just found it.
Ah, cool. Well, that will be a great kid's toy.
And it's worth like a ton of money now, which is really funny.
It's a Star Wars thing. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So do you save it or do you sell it?
It all depends. I'm probably going to be making a run to his place at some point here because I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm just not going to use that's all up his alley. But finding it is very cool. Finding it is very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's pretty neat then. Well, I guess we've hit all the bits we needed to, so I guess we ought to just go ahead and call it a night. So with that, you can find my man Steve here at Ratman720. Bless you, sir, and your growing family. You can find me, I'm Evan, at that fake guy Dan. As again, you can find Craig at CraigBob99. And well, everyone, it's been an absolute pleasure having you around again. And all goes well. We'll be back again next week, unless I've got to have oral surgery or something. But even then, do my best to make it. Talk to you again soon.